Hey, good morning to you. Welcome into the Marc Cox Morning Show on a Friday morning, a few minutes after 5 a.m. For those of you who are up dark and early, the clock changes this weekend. So just so you know.
When are we going to get rid of that?
Up a little bit.
I know they've tried to pass legislation to get rid of daylight saving time, but I would be a huge proponent of that. I am excited to get an extra hour of sleep, but that is not worth it to have it get dark at 5:30.
Have long lobbied for them to just pick one and stick with it instead of this constant back and forth. They first did this back in the 70s, so they could have longer in the afternoon to play golf in Washington, D.C.
Oh, that was it?
So, yeah, that's my opinion on why they originally did it. So, anyway, that's coming up this weekend. It's the final Friday before Election Day. We have got a packed show. Kim was just commenting on that as I walked in the door here. Wow, we got a lot of stuff to get to today. We do. There are some big races going on. I've been trying to squeeze them all in here. I've been trying to get to David Gregory out there in that Senate District 23 to come on. He's too busy, I guess. I've tried repeatedly to get him on the show because he's on my list here in a very tight race. So today we're going to concentrate with a couple of candidates who are running for county council positions. It could be a key. It could swing the balance of power in St. Louis County if those two positions are secured by the Republicans who are running for them. So we're going to talk to Sudhir Ruthod, who's running in North County, and we're going to talk to my friend Mike Archer, who's running down in South County in the 6th District. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be great. We're going to talk to Wes Martin, who's the lead pastor out at Grace Church, where Kim happens to go, because, one of my criticisms through this election cycle is that churches have been hesitant to get involved in the trenches on this Amendment 3 issue. This is not a question of putting at risk your 503c organization status. You're allowed to voice your opinion on issues of life and death. That's what this is.
Right.
I can't wait to talk to the pastor about his take on it because I know he has been preaching that message.
The entire service this past Sunday was focused on abortion and Amendment 3.
Yeah, as it should be. It very, very much should be. So we're going to talk to him today in the 8 o'clock hour. We are kicking off First Responder Thanksgiving the entire month of November. You know what I do every year if you listen to this show. We help Responder Rescue. Great organization. They do a raffle. We've got a fantastic firearm from the Range St. Louis West. It's a 9mm rifle, CMMG. It's beautiful. It's worth a couple of grand, and that's one item that we're raffling off in addition to a basket of booze and some other stuff. I'm going to give you more details throughout the morning, but the link is live. I'll put a link to it up on the Facebook page, and you can go and buy your tickets. They're only $1 a piece, and you have a chance of winning 3 different prizes, all valued in excess of $1,000. And all the money goes to Responder Rescue. 100% of the money is going to Responder Rescue. So we're going to talk about that this morning as well. It is a full show. So, Carl Middleman, why don't we go ahead and get to the top stories, please?
Let's do it.
The Marc Cox Shortlist.
Donald Trump, you never see him around strong, intelligent women, ever. It's just that simple.
Proof right there, living proof that you can be stupid and be incredibly successful in this country. That is Mark Cuban, who would make an ignorant statement like that one. The list is so long, I couldn't even mention how many beautiful, intelligent, powerful women there are supporting Donald Trump in this election.
ABC is no good. CBS is no good. And in fact, in honor of you, I just sued CBS today because of 60 Minutes.
Yeah, he sued CBS for editing the Kamala Harris interview to try to give her cover for her inability to answer questions. That's going to be huge. Great headline. I don't know how successful it'll be, but a great headline just a few days before the election.
I grew up as a child of the civil rights movement. My parents would take me to marches when I was in a stroller.
With pigtails. She forgot the pigtails part. Come on, Kamala. I was raised in a middle-class household. It's same story over and over and over again. Depending on which crowd she's talking to, she modifies it.
The most important thing that we can do when it comes to gun violence is put those who commit it behind bars. I will say that his incident last week maybe convinced me that gun control might be needed for him.
Josh Hawley and Lucas Kuntz yesterday on Fox 2, they aired that debate, and I didn't watch it live because I have a life to live, and my grandchildren came over and we took them trick-or-treating, so I wasn't about to be inside glued to the TV at 7 o'clock, but I did watch the highlights, and Josh Hawley just owned him.
I mean, we knew that was going to come up. I tried to stream it last night, but I, too, was running around chasing my son dressed up as a lobster because he found a bubble machine that he was obsessed with. But, that's hilarious because you can't go. I mean, that had to come up multiple times, right? That whole shooting incident.
Oh, yeah. Carl, go ahead and hit cut number 9 for us, please.
A little bit of courage to share a stage with Lucas Kuntz after he shot a reporter last week. I guess he wants to go out with a bang.
What did Lucas Kuntz say to that?
I don't know, but his comment there was to the moderators at Fox 2. It's pretty brave of you to want to share a stage with Lucas Kuntz after he shot a reporter last week.
Well, here's what's funny. You know that those reporters, even though they might, really dislike Josh Hawley, I don't know their political beliefs, but let's just say they do. That's a funny comment. And as moderators, they had to play it off like, just no reaction.
Yeah, well, how did they keep a straight face when he said that? Because they had to see that coming. Let's go to the longer version of what Hawley said to Kuntz, and because he was talking specifically here about his policies. I mean, the jokes about the gun thing, you saw that coming, but Hawley just schooled him because Lucas Kuntz has famously, he will not endorse Kamala Harris. He won't even utter her name. And then he tried to go to a gun range and convince you that he's a pro 2A guy because he's been in the military and he does something stupid like shoot a reporter. He's a faker is what he is. And Hawley completely called him out on it. Go to cut 11, please.
First of all, here's what I would start by never doing. I would never give Social Security to illegal immigrants. I would never give 15, 20 million illegal immigrants in this country amnesty, which my opponent, sadly, has said over and over that he supports. And I wouldn't give Medicare to illegal immigrants either. To protect our Social Security program, we've got to make sure that the people who paid into it actually keep everything they paid in. And by the way, that's why I oppose, and always have, raising the retirement age or any cuts to any benefits of any kind for Social Security. Now, if you want to know how to save Social Security, the answer is start cutting things like the 87,000 IRS agents that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have spent billions of dollars on, and by the way, which my opponent supports. But more than anything else, we have got to make sure that Social Security is there for every American worker who paid into it. And we can start by ensuring illegal immigrants never get it. And we never, ever, ever give them amnesty.
Yeah, thank you. And Lucas Kuntz would, which I thought he pointed out pretty effectively last night in that. We got some more Hawley sound. We'll get to that for you coming up this morning, so you can hear a little more of that. And I'm going to talk a bit more about what's going on in St. Charles County. Yesterday, I heard an interview with a state representative who said some of the most outrageous, really obnoxious and insulting things that I've heard in a long time about the people who want to make sure we have election integrity. There are people in St. Charles County who are concerned about election integrity. You should be too. Kurt Barr should be as well. And they had to go to court to guarantee it. And now they're being criticized and being accused of trying to keep people from voting in St. Charles County. It's the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard, and I'm going to explain that to you coming up here. Kurt Barr was on with Marc Reardon yesterday. I'm going to play some of his reaction to this and talk about it when we come back here in just a couple of minutes. But first, Carl Middleman, should we get to the fray?
Rabbit.
All right.
So proudly we hear that the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, or the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming in the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
A clear view of the roads from the Window World Traffic Center.
Good morning to you. We look great on this Friday morning, at least at this hour. Light traffic out there throughout the entire area. Light traffic through North County. No delays on westbound 270 at this hour. I've been looking at the Cordell & Cordell domestic litigation firm traffic cameras. We look great. Eastbound 70 looks fabulous from out west into downtown. No delays on northbound 55 through a couple of construction zones. Yep, they are looking good at this hour. No problems on the Illinois side. Off to a nice start here this morning. From the Window World Traffic Center, I'm Sue Thomas. 518 at 97.1. St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
The Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Guy Benson joins us.
If you just look at the words, the behavior, the language, it seems like the Trump campaign is more optimistic.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-481-4455. 800-481-4455. That's 800-481-4455.
Life is challenging and ever-changing. Take control with passive income through real estate investing. Learn how. Learn now. Let Del Walmsley and Lifestyles Unlimited's investors and mentors show you. Meet Del's team live in St. Louis. 2 days only at the Hilton Frontenac, Saturday and Sunday, November 9th and 10th. Register now at DelHelpMeNow.com. That's DelHelpMeNow.com. Enter promo code 2024 for a special discount offer. DelHelpMeNow.com. Code 2024.
Annie Fry here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They are the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
Tune in to the Home Improvement Show sponsored by Mosby Building Arts, Saturdays 12 to 1 p.m. on 97.1 for expert advice on remodeling, design, and construction. This live Q&A show begins at noon, or find podcasts at mosbybuildingarts.com.
You've been listening to the very popular Wellness One for many years, Saturdays and Sundays on 97.1 FM Talk. We're happy to share that we've expanded the show to 4 times a week. Yes, 4 times every weekend. Saturday at 10 a.m., Saturday at 8 p.m., Sunday at 9 a.m., and Sunday at 2 p.m. It's the same great show designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you a common sense, science-based strategy for a healthy life. So join TJ and Aaron for Wellness One. Now 4 times a week on 97.1 FM Talk.
You're listening to the Marc Cox Morning Show. And now, more sweet intro music.
we have a process in law for the parties to have watchers and challengers at the polling place on Election Day. So a challenger is somebody who can watch the process of the voting, watch the voters get checked in, watch the election judges hand the ballots, and watch that whole process. The watcher is somebody who can observe the counting of the ballot and the counting of the absentee ballots at the election authority office. And historically, we have always understood it because the law says, on Election Day, that these two positions are for Election Day. Well, this election, we had one member of the Republican Central Committee say, hey, I want to be a challenger at the two early vote site locations. And we said, well, that's not how we understand the law, and we can't allow that. We did allow him to be a watcher on Election Day because, he is a registered voter in St. Charles County. He has.
Pause it there for a minute. That's Kurt Barr, the elections director, on with Marc Reardon yesterday, the guy from St. Charles County, obviously, talking about this lawsuit. Now, late yesterday, a different judge, came out and quashed the order from the judge the day before, basically issuing a temporary restraining order. And there's still a hearing this morning on this issue. This dispute is far from over. Here's what I don't understand, and nobody's been able to explain it to me yesterday. And I heard a completely insulting interview yesterday with a local state representative from St. Charles County accusing anybody who supports Travis Hines, who filed the lawsuit, as being anti-voter and trying to keep people from voting, and nothing could be the truth. You heard Travis, it could be further from the truth. You heard Travis on this show yesterday morning. What he said was there should be watchers in the polling places. And when he went to Kurt Barr and asked to do that, Kurt Barr said, oh, you can't do that. You can only do that on Election Day. Well, guess what? Election Day is now election month. Common sense would tell you that if the polls are open and people are voting, that's no different than on Election Day, next Tuesday, people are physically going in and voting. That's when you need the watchers. Not just on the one day, but on every day you physically have people in there casting a ballot. It's just common sense. And Kurt Barr is on here yesterday trying to argue that, well, that only applies, to Election Day. And if a judge tells me otherwise, well, I'll allow it. But that just defies common sense. And to be accused of trying to block the vote, the point of saying no more voting should take place until this is remedied is to force Kurt Barr to remedy it, and then there would have been no interruption in voting. Not that there was, but the point was there doesn't need to be an interruption in voting, but if Kurt Barr refuses to allow this to happen, maybe there should be, to put the pressure on Barr to allow the watchers into the place. And I listened to that interview yesterday, and I'm thinking to myself, Kurt, I'm not sure you get it here. This makes no sense to me whatsoever. And this was his follow-up on that. Is that cut 14, Carl? Hit that, please.
That order was vacated by the judge that will hear the case tomorrow. So that order saying, hey, you can't be open, that order's been vacated. But we are going to go before the judge tomorrow. And the question is, here is our longstanding understanding that this challenger position is a Election Day only position. And the Republican Central Committee is saying it should be for early voting. And I don't disagree whether or not it should be for early voting. I'm just saying that's not what the law says.
Okay.
And so, if the judge says no, the law is more broad than our understanding, then we'll comply with the judge's order and allow them, to be a challenger at the early vote site. But of course, we'll then reach out to the other party and say, hey, since the rules changed midstream, if you want somebody here as well to represent your side, you can appoint somebody to be here as well.
Okay.
Because that's one of the things is, we want both sides of the equation to have, a chance for equal representation in the whole process of the election.
So what you just heard Kurt Barr explain there is exactly what Travis Hines said yesterday, is that he went to Kurt Barr and said, I want to do this. Kurt Barr said, sue me. That's what happened. He said, I'm not going to let you do it. But if you think you should be able to do it, sue me. So he went and sued him, and then Barr and a bunch of his supporters out there started screaming foul that people were trying to keep people from voting. It's the biggest bunch of immature, childish politics I've ever seen from this group of people that's tried to take over the St. Charles County Central Committee, a bunch of moderates. very, very moderate Republicans, at the very least, in St. Charles County, in my opinion, that are trying to pull this off. The hearing is this morning. It'll be after our show ends, but I'm sure we'll cover the results a little later in the day. We'll certainly know by this afternoon what the judge has decided in that case. All right, stick around. We got Kim on a Whim coming up. We'll be right back.
Rhino Shield is far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum-sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Does the state of this economy have your head spinning? Let GregHammonds.com relieve one burden, health insurance. Greg Hammonds at GregHammonds.com specializes in under 65 health insurance plans that have zero copays and no deductibles. You choose your doctors and hospitals. These plans have nothing to do with your income and are 30 to 60% less than Obamacare. These are also available all year round to those that qualify. If you have a small business or you're paying for your own health insurance, you're uninsured, you're on COBRA, or your employment coverage is just too expensive, call Greg at 314-794-7784. That's 314-794-7784. Or go to GregHammonds.com. That's GregHammonds.com. They can customize a plan chosen and managed by you, not the government. Call 314-794-7784 or go to GregHammonds.com.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
All about tons of sunshine on this Friday as we kick off the month of November. 62 for the high, but it is chilly going out the door this morning. Tonight, clear skies, 50s for evening plans, 43 for the low. The weekend, first weekend of November, Saturday, gorgeous. Partly sunny and 66. Lots of clouds moving in Saturday night as we set our clocks back 1 hour. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
I'm Elizabeth McDonald, and this is the Fox Business Report.
The October monthly employment report is released today. Economists are predicting 115,000 new jobs created, with the unemployment rate remaining at 4.1% after 254,000 in September. Paul Christopher, head of global market strategy for Wells Fargo, says Hurricanes Helene and Milton are believed to have depressed job growth.
Looks like the expectation there is for a gain of about 110,000 jobs last month. That's going to be a big asterisk next to that one because you've got those two storms that really interfered with hiring during the month. By comparison, the report that came out in October for September was up over 200,000.
Also today, earnings from Chevron, ExxonMobil, Cardinal Health, and T. Rowe Price. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Jenny Cosilda, invested in you.
Hey, Donald Trump Jr. here. Central banks are buying gold at record amounts, and the trend is accelerating in 2024. They see the writing on the wall. The dollar is failing. Is gold the answer for you too? To find out, get a free info kit from Birch Gold Group by texting the word SHELTER to 989898. That's SHELTER to the number 989898 to get your free info kit from Birch Gold, the only gold company I trust, right now.
Message and data rates.
A clear view of the roads from the Window World Traffic Center.
Good morning to you. It looks like we've got an accident on westbound 70 on the Stan Musial Veterans Memorial Bridge, kind of right at the river, so coming in from the Illinois side, about midway across the bridge. And it is causing a delay at this hour. So if you are headed in from Illinois, there's a delay on that bridge, but all of the other bridges look pretty good at this hour with really light traffic. Now, eastbound 70, I'm showing a slow pocket just east of Highway K. There may be an incident there that is not yet reported, with some slow-moving traffic that goes back through K itself. Other than that, yeah, it's just odd that we have two things to mention at this hour. That's not normal, but that's what we've got. So if you are eastbound on 70, you could really encounter this delay. There it is. I'm finally seeing it here on the Cordell & Cordell domestic litigation firm cameras. Looks like the left lane is blocked. It may just be road work for eastbound 70 drivers. So expect a slow go from K to just a little bit east of there, but it will open up by the time you get to 79. From the Window World Traffic Center, I'm Sue Thomas, 533 at 97.1, St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Hey, what do you got going on at your house that's maybe not right with the electricity? You got a switch that's not working, an outlet that's not working. You got to hang a new ceiling fan, whatever the case is. That's why I love my folks at Grasser Electric. Well, here we are going into winter. I remember covering stories for years as a reporter where there would be power outages in the dead of winter. What do, right? I mean, you have to leave your house and hope the pipes don't freeze or whatever. They've got backup generators they can install. Grasser Electric does this all the time for people, and they're whole house generators. And you don't have to worry about it. When the electricity goes off, the whole house standby generator kicks on. It's gas-powered, natural gas, and you have a warm environment while everybody else is suffering. This just makes it a great investment in your home. It builds value. Talk to Grasser Electric about that or whatever your electrical needs are. 636-441-5200. That's their emergency number as well. Online at grasserelectric.com.
It's the most critical election of our time. The stakes have never been higher.
So grab your popcorn and MAGA hats and let's party.
Join the Annie Fry Show for an online watch party. Details at 971talk.com.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan from McKelvey Homes. This month, we're giving $18,980 off our homes in selected communities to celebrate 126 years of legendary quality and craftsmanship. In addition, our skilled craftsmen from the Mid-America Carpenters Union are offering McKelvey buyers up to $10,000 cash towards their new home for closing costs or lower interest rates. Combine these two incredible offers and save big on your McKelvey home. But hurry, this rare opportunity won't last long. Visit McKelveyHomes.com.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com or call us toll-free at 888-367-6512.
Tony LaRussa here. Has your loss of energy and weight gain thrown you a curveball in your relationship? If so, go see my friends over at Victory Men's Health. Discreet first-class professionals will help you hit those curves out of the park. VictoryMen'sHealth.com. That's VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
The gloves are off. This is the Marc Cox Morning Show. Kim on a Whim.
Kim on a Whim is proudly brought to you by Missouri Brush Control. Enjoy your land the way you've always dreamed of. Learn more at MissouriBrushControl.com.
Thousands of Washington Post readers have canceled their subscriptions after the newspaper announced it would not endorse a presidential candidate. The publisher says it's, quote, returning to our roots of not endorsing presidential candidates. Before 1976, the Post did not typically endorse candidates. Sources tell the Wall Street Journal that an editorial was already in the works endorsing Vice President Kamala Harris. Critics claim the decision was made over fears of retribution from former President Trump.
And when she says thousands of people have canceled their subscription to the Washington Post, let me clarify that. She means more than 250,000 people canceled their subscriptions, revolting over the fact that the Washington Post has decided to not endorse Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
But keep in mind, the Washington Post is not the only newspaper that in every other pretty much election year, they would endorse a candidate, typically the Democratic candidate. They did in 2020, Joe Biden. And then all of a sudden, they're not endorsing Kamala Harris. The LA Times is included in that. Like I mentioned, the Washington Post, USA Today, Minnesota Star Tribune, the Des Moines Register. I could go on. The Tampa Bay Times. What is going on?
What is going on is that you've got these organizations that realize how bad of a candidate Kamala Harris is.
Well,
my guess is, and tell me if I'm wrong here, The last time they endorsed, when they first started endorsing a candidate, it was 1976. Have they ever endorsed a Republican?
I was going to say, I don't know that they ever have.
So my guess is that election cycle would have been Jimmy Carter. They probably endorsed Jimmy Carter that year and just started right on down the line with Walter Mondale and whoever else was running after that as the Democratic candidate. And this year, for the first time, they're not endorsing because she's so bad. It has nothing to do with them fearing retribution from Donald Trump.
No.
Because if she wins, what power does he have anyway? And if she doesn't win, he has no record of suppressing media when he got president last time.
Right. This doesn't say anything about Donald Trump because we all knew that these papers wouldn't endorse Trump. It says everything about the fact that they're not endorsing Kamala Harris. Now, the question I want to pose is, should these papers even be endorsing in the first place? I personally think it's ridiculous. I understand that a lot of them try to, they separate it and say, well, this is an editorial and da-da-da. No, I don't think these are supposed to be objective newspapers.
But they bought the farm a long time ago.
Well, but I don't understand why this idea of endorsements for political candidates ever started in the first place. I think it's silly, and I think for them to sit there and want to say that they're objective and they're going to tell both sides, but we already know that they've already, publicly endorsed, I guess 4 years ago would have been Joe Biden. How are you expecting us to read an article and think, yeah, that was it? That was fair to both candidates.
It's a joke, and it has been for a long time, and here's why. Because in the 1960s, all the people that are now leading these news organizations all wanted to get into journalism because they were activists and they wanted to make a difference. Boy, have they made a difference. You could certainly say that. And when they got into these big newspapers, they created these editorial boards because they wanted to say that the editorial board's opinion was separate from their hard news journalists who went out and worked every day. TV stations could never get away with that, right? A TV station has reporters on the air covering stories, but the general manager doesn't go out and endorse political candidates one way or the other.
Right.
It was basically the influence of the owner on the editorial board, who's a hard lefty, pushing lefty candidates for the New York Times and the LA Times and, the Detroit Free Press and all the way down the line. This was just a vessel for the left to use to push their far-left progressive candidates in every election. In this particular case, starting in 1976, some of them started earlier than that. The fact that they're so disgruntled with Kamala Harris, they know what a horrible candidate she is, speaks volumes here. They're not the first newspaper to do this, right?
Right. I mean, like I mentioned, there's a bunch of newspapers that have done this. New York Times, the LA Times, a lot of these big...
Unheard of.
Right. So YouGov conducted this poll on October 29th asking people if they think these newspapers should be endorsing political candidates. They surveyed about 6,000, just over 6,000 people, and of those people, 47% believe newspapers should not back a presidential candidate, 28% said they should, and 25% said they were unsure. This should not surprise you at all. More Democrats than Republicans said newspapers should endorse candidates. You think? I wonder why.
Because they think it's going to help their candidates, their liberal candidates, get elected.
Right.
There's so much more to this. They're trying to blame it on the owners or this owner or that owner. Bezos is a hard lefty.
Oh, yeah.
There's no way he's influencing against endorsing a left-wing liberal candidate, except that he maybe even he realizes, as somebody who started a small business and carried it to great things, that America can't survive under the policies of Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
Can't.
I think it's this whole idea of people podcasting and being their own journalists, starting YouTube channels is interesting because it's really shaken up the media landscape, if you will, because think about what just happened with Joe Rogan. Okay, so Joe Rogan interviews Donald Trump for a 3-hour interview. Then he interviews J.D. Vance for a 3-hour interview. Kamala Harris, the current vice president of the United States, agrees, I guess, reluctantly to an interview with him, but says, well, here are my terms. You have to come to me, and it's only going to be an hour, not 3 hours like you're requesting. And Joe Rogan, the guy who used to host Fear Factor, is now so popular that he can tell the vice president of the United States no, because the reality is she needs his followers more than he needs her.
Wow.
Isn't that wild that that's what we've come to, that these podcasters have so much power and these candidates need their followers?
They do.
That's the audience they're trying to reach. We know Kamala is desperate to get the male vote.
I think, Carl, I can't play it from over here, but we have that Rogan soundbite in the day file today near the bottom there. Rogan and Kamala on why she chose to skip his show. Can you play that for me? Oh. Sorry. I surprised Carl with that. We're having trouble getting my computer to play. Maybe it's because it's too cold in here. My computer is clammed up and won't play anything.
I would blame it elsewhere, but okay.
You could look at this and you say, oh, you're being a diva. But she had an opportunity to come here when she was in Texas, and I literally gave them an open invitation. I said, anytime. I said, if she's done at 10 o'clock, we'll come here at 10 o'clock. I go do it at 9 in the morning. I'll do it at 10 p.m. I'll do it at midnight. She's up. She wants to, drink a Red Bull.
Again, she needs him more than he needs her. So he ultimately, the former host of Fear Factor, has more power than the vice president in this case. I think that's very fascinating.
Yeah.
That he can dictate it like, nope, you're coming to me.
I would agree with that completely. It's the Rogan impact is going to be huge in this case. Just like I think the Elon Musk impact is going to be huge.
Mm-hmm.
The freewheeling hour and a half or hour and 45 minutes Elon Musk did with Donald Trump, the 3-hour interview, the Vance stuff with Rogan was outstanding. And I mean, they just had a bro moment, I think, like a bromance.
A bromance,
kind of thing.
yeah.
I think they did.
You can cover topics that you don't have time to cover in a traditional interview, right? Like 60 minutes, you've got to hit the key topics like immigration, the economy, abortion, all those things that are driving the Americans to the polls, right? You don't have time to talk about windmills in the ocean that are affecting whales. Like, you just don't have the time to talk about that. And so I think really what these podcasts, these longer form interviews do is it personalizes them, right? It's easy to look at them as just this political figure, and you see them with their talking points. And I think it's nice to see more of their personality coming out when they're doing these, in this case, 3-hour interviews.
Well, and plus it shows your ability to sit down and have a conversation for 3 hours.
Well, and that's why Kamala Harris won't do it, because there's no way she could do that. I don't think that she would feel confident enough going into an interview with Rogan, feeling like he could throw anything at her and she would be able to think on her feet and come up with some coherent answer.
That's impossible. That will never happen, I would venture to say. All right, when we come back here, I want to talk a little bit more about this whole election integrity issue, not just about St. Charles County. I mean, I think that's an important part of the conversation. Of course we should have watchers at the polls. If the polls are open, you should have watchers. Used to be the polls are only open on Election Day. That's not the case anymore. Polls are open, should have watchers. That's going to be a slam dunk for a judge today out there. We're going to talk about some of the other problems we're seeing around the country when we come back.
A clear view of the roads from the Window World Traffic Center.
Good morning to you. Well, we've already had an incident, and it's an accident on the Stan Musial Veterans Memorial Bridge. If you're headed in from Illinois at this hour, just watch out for it. It's about just as you approach or midway across the river itself, and it's caused a delay. If you're headed into Illinois, no problems there. It's westbound that's caused the problem. But things look fine on all of the other bridges downtown, so no delays there. And other than that, we do look good. Eastbound 70 looks great from out west into the city. 6440 does, so does 44. Northbound 55 and 270 are in good shape at this hour. From the Window World Traffic Center, I'm Sue Thomas. 546 at 97.1, St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Democracy 2024.
We're bringing you the latest results, real-time analysis, and thoughtful commentary. It's Mark Reardon. Join me and our panel of experts on Tuesday night, November 5th for 97.1 FM Talk's Election Night coverage.
Democracy 2024. Election Night.
If you're experiencing low energy, brain fog, or bloating, then your body might need a detox. Active Liver from New Nordic makes it easy to help your liver to detox your body all year long without major changes to your diet or lifestyle. Active Liver is available in stores at CVS or online at Amazon.
Attention veterans and active military. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis is doubling their usual veterans discount on all products and services in November. That means veterans and active military get 10% off all month at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, 10% off all doors, openers, and any service or repair. Details on their website. Schedule your annual garage door tune-up before winter really sets in. Just call 314-781-5200 or schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
Marie, is that you?
Oh, hi, Barb. How you doing?
Better now. Did you know we had a little health scare with Jeff?
Oh, no. What happened?
Well, he had been short of breath and was really tired a lot of the time. He just thought he was getting old and was out of shape, but it turns out it was heart valve disease.
How did you figure it out?
He finally went to the doctor, and she was able to listen to his heart and detected the problem. I didn't realize it, but heart valve disease is more common than you'd think. They were able to replace the valve, and he's feeling so much better now.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that.
More than 5 million Americans are diagnosed with heart valve disease every year, but most people know nothing about the condition, and it can be deadly if untreated. That's why it's important to listen to your heart and ask your doctor if your symptoms may be due to heart valve disease or if you're at high risk. A message brought to you by Heart Valve Voice US. For more information about the symptoms and treatments for valve disease, go to heartvalvevoice-us.org.
The helm is in good hands. This is the Marc Cox Morning Show.
A TikTok video showing a Kentucky ballot machine malfunctioning is going viral online tonight. It happened in Laurel County. In the video, you see a voter repeatedly tapping Donald Trump's name on the touchscreen, but it never gets selected. And at one point, when tapping Trump's name, Kamala Harris' name actually gets selected. Laurel County Clerk Tony Brown has responded to this, saying the Attorney General's office actually came to investigate. It found it took several minutes to recreate the situation, and then they could not get it to happen again.
That's that. I'm sure you've probably seen the video if you're on the socials at all. It was all over Facebook yesterday, and I'm sure X as well. I saw it on X this morning, in fact. They're claiming it was isolated. This is my problem with these voting machines. And in fact, I'm sure with just a moment's notice here, I could probably go back to last month when I had the bite from Elon Musk, who said very clearly that he would not he doesn't trust the technology, right? That he would not support, he doesn't support electronic voting machines because he doesn't trust computers. Now, that's interesting because computers basically drive his cars and his spaceships. But he said when it comes to voting machines, it would be too easy to manipulate them.
Well, there's more of a motivation to want to manipulate a voting machine versus a spaceship. Now, I can see there be for both, but especially if people want a particular candidate to win, they're going to find a way to potentially hack into that.
Well, and they claim that they removed this machine. They couldn't get the problem to repeat on any other machine in that precinct. Laurel County is down near London, Kentucky. I happen to know that because I have relatives who live there. So it's made big news in the state of Kentucky, but they're all quick to point out, like if you Google a Kentucky voting machine, all of the headlines are, it's an isolated case, Kentucky officials say. They're all investigating it. I'm glad they're investigating it. But I do think that had that person not been paying attention, their vote would have gone for Kamala Harris. And on the voting machines, and I remember having this problem when we had them in Missouri, it was not always easy to tell. Now, it would print up a paper version of what you voted, supposedly, but it was not always clear to me at the end of the voting process. When I have a piece of paper that I can fill out by putting a little dark circle in there, then you're at the mercy of the scanner, right? Could the scanner be manipulated? I guess so. They're all supposed to be certified. They're tested again and again for effectiveness by people running them through the machines and then going through and hand counting those same votes to make sure that the tallies match. They're certified. But you've got Denny Hoskins, who's running for Secretary of State, who's one of the people in support of paper ballots. We did it for years in this state without incident until the computers came along. I'm not quite sure why everybody acts like you couldn't do it again. Is it faster sometimes to run it through the computer and take all the chips out of the computer machine, stick them in a computer somewhere, let it tabulate all the votes instead of doing it by hand? Absolutely. It's probably more effective. But I think that if those things aren't audited regularly before each election, and I'm not talking about one of the machines, I mean all of the machines should have the same test run on it. I've got a soundbite here from Kurt Barr, and this is the thing that I find interesting about what's going on in St. Charles County. I've known Kurt for a long time. I'm not ascribing any ill intent here on his part. Don't take that the wrong way. But when I heard this soundbite from him about why these polls were understaffed to begin with, I have to admit I was a little surprised. Do you know anybody who didn't think this was going to be the biggest voter turnout election in history?
No.
Okay, listen. Is that still not playing, Carl? Are you kidding me?
Still not.
Hold on. I thought we had just fixed our problem because you heard me play some sound there just a minute ago. And let me see here. Yeah, it's still on 1 over here, Carl. Livewire out 1. So if you can get back into that file, Carl, the file I'm looking for there is Kurt Barr on why he understaffed for this election in today's day file, please.
Okay. There we go.
So what we had done is in 2020, the high water mark was 2,600 voters. And so we said, okay, let's assume the high water mark every day for 2 weeks, and let's staff and plan for that.
Right.
And that seemed like a reasonable thing since the last 2 years we've had very anemic voting in the early voting period. Well, something happened between the August election and November election where the public became very much aware of this process, and they decided to heavily utilize the early voting period. And we've been working to address the situation. At the satellite location at Element Church, we increased our staffing there, increased our resources there, increased our ability to process people more quickly. We also went ahead and opened up that polling place for the Monday before the election. We haven't used it the Monday before the election previously, but we are going to this Monday have that place open. And then, of course, the Election Authority office, we've worked a lot to relieve the traffic congestion issue that we've had here because we do have a small parking lot.
So suddenly everybody decided to show up. He said, the Republican Party has been preaching early voting. Donald Trump's been preaching early voting. You have to take Laura Trump, you have to take advantage of the system the way it is because the other side is taking advantage of the system the way it is. Don't be a knucklehead, to borrow a phrase, and go out on election day only. If you can get out there and vote early, may take you an hour, may take you 3 hours on election day. Why not go ahead and get it out of the way early? So I am surprised that Kurt Barr was surprised that there are long lines and high demand for early voting. St. Louis County saw it coming. They put out 14 locations.
And
the city of St. Louis
with
put
that,
out 8.
Even with the 14 locations, it's still been like an hour wait.
I know. So there you have it. Election integrity matters, and we need to have poll watchers in all of the election facilities looking for potential problems in this election. Let's just get it out front of it. How about that? Coming up, we'll talk to Sudhir Ruthod. He's running for St. Louis County Council in what could switch the balance of power in St. Louis County. We'll be back.
Hey, it's Marc Reardon from my friends at ThrottleNet, and you've probably heard George Rosenthal from ThrottleNet on the show. He's a technology whiz, and George and his team can educate you and your business on the dangers lurking with technology. Here's a unique opportunity along those lines. Does your company have a lunch and learn or guest speakers? For a limited time, ThrottleNet is providing free lunch and learns to provide cybersecurity awareness training. One click can cause a ton of damage to your business. ThrottleNet is determined to make sure that doesn't happen. And if it does, they're the cybersecurity experts who can help. ThrottleNet is known for high customer satisfaction, averaging 99% happiness with over 35,000 surveys. They have an industry-leading response time of less than 2 minutes. And no clients of ThrottleNet have ever paid ransom as a result of a cyber attack. Contact ThrottleNet at throttlenet.com/971 and we can schedule your free company lunch. Don't miss out. Find out more today about ThrottleNet at throttlenet.com/971.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer? Can we sleep cooler? Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. And now, during our Veterans Day sale, save 40% on the Sleep Number Special Edition Smart Bed. Limited time. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com.
I want to learn how to cook, but I keep ordering takeout.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel will help you start having conversations in as little as 3 weeks. Words and phrases you'll actually use. So when someone asks, "How's your French going?" you can say,
Babbel facilite grandement l'apprentissage d'une nouvelle langue.
Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
I'm getting older. Do I need to worry about falling?
Yes, you do. Every year, 1 in 4 people 65 and older will experience a fall, and many result in serious injury. The majority of falls happen at home, so take a look around. Replace bulbs and add lighting to help you see obstacles. Remove things that can make you trip. Fix uneven steps and floors, and install handrails in bathrooms and on stairs. Consider balance or strength training exercises, which can help with agility. Get your eyes and hearing checked regularly. Changes in your hearing can affect your balance. To learn more, please talk to your doctor about steps you can take to help prevent a fall. You can also visit aarpfoundation.org or medicaremadeclear.com/falls. This message was brought to you by United Healthcare and AARP Foundation.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
They keep going to the same states. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, 4 days till the election.
On day one, I will launch the largest deportation program in American history. We're going to get them out. We have no choice. I will rescue every city and town that has been invaded and conquered.
Former President Trump in Henderson, Nevada. Well, Vice President Harris rallied in Reno.
I pledge to you to always put country above party and self, and to be a president for all Americans.
Now, they also both went to Arizona, and there will be Trump and Harris rallies tonight in Wisconsin. The former president will also go to Michigan. This, though, as all that campaigning won't matter to the nearly 64 million Americans who already voted early, setting records in some states like Georgia, a toss-up state where more than half of registered voters have cast ballots.
More than 3,650,000 Georgians casting their ballots. The number will increase until early voting in the state ends on Friday and easily exceeds the 2.3 million Georgians who voted early in the last presidential election.
Fox's Jack Callahan. The controversy keeps simmering over President Biden calling Trump supporters garbage. White House officials edited the transcript of Biden's comments over the objection to the stenography office.
The White House added an apostrophe to the word supporters to indicate that Biden was calling the joke made by the comedian during Trump's Madison Square Garden rally garbage and not his supporters overall.
Fox's Brooks Sigmund. 2 people are dead in Orlando, Florida after shooting on the streets downtown, scaring people for real during a Halloween celebration after midnight.
We talked to 2 people who are bartenders, and they said that they had to hide. They didn't see the shooters, but they heard gunshots. So they said that it was a very tense and scary moment.
That's Marley Capper with Fox 35 TV. 6 other people were shot and wounded. They did arrest a suspect, a 17-year-old. America's listening to Fox News.
So this new dose is, nope, that's not it. The price is nowhere to be found.
Mr. Green? Hi, it's all good. We've got this.
This is not just help from a Walgreens pharmacist.
Oh, new prescriptions. Cool. Let me check to see if these are the lowest cost options covered by your Medicare plan.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
This is someone supporting you every step of the way. Chat with a pharmacist today to find help saving. This is the human kind of help. Walgreens.
Hey, Donald Trump Jr. here. Central banks are buying gold at record amounts, and the trend is accelerating in 2024. They see the writing on the wall. The dollar is failing. Is gold the answer for you too? To find out, get a free info kit from Birch Gold Group by texting the word SHELTER to 989898. That's SHELTER to the number 989898 to get your free info kit from Birch Gold, the only gold company I trust, right now.
Message and data rates may apply.
A chilly start to the first day of November, 45 degrees now at 6:03. I'm Kim St. Ange for 97.1 FM Talk. The home of St. Louis City SC is getting a new name. City Park will now be called Energizer Park, following a new partnership with Clayton-based battery and portable light company Energizer. City SC CEO says she hopes this new partnership will help continue the club's efforts to revitalize downtown St. Louis. Domestic violence is being blamed for a Wentzville woman's death. Police responded to a home in the 100 block of Katie Lynn Court early Thursday morning and found that woman shot. She leaves behind 2 young kids. Her family says she was also pregnant. Fox 2 found she'd been in contact with the domestic violence organization since 2022. 39-year-old Daryl Tyson Jr. is now in custody. A hearing is scheduled for this morning surrounding a lawsuit accusing St. Charles County Elections Director Kurt Barr for refusing to allow election watchers at the polls. Barr says he will follow the law, which allows those watchers at polling locations. Early voting at both locations in St. Charles County remains open. 6:04 the time right now and 45 degrees at 97.1 FM Talk. In sports, the Blues lost 2-1 against the Flyers last night to wrap up the road trip. They're heading back to St. Louis to play Toronto on Saturday. That'll be at 6 o'clock. Well, last night for Thursday Night Football, the Jets beat the Texans 21-13, ending a 5-game losing streak. Heads up for Mizzou fans, no game tomorrow. They have a bye week. Meanwhile, Illinois takes on Minnesota at 11 o'clock. 45 degrees now, coming up on 6:05. You're listening to 97.1 FM Talk.
A clear view of the roads from the Window World Traffic Center.
Well, some good news in traffic. They have cleared the accident or westbound on the Stan Musial Veterans Memorial Bridge, or at least they pushed one vehicle off. It has been blocking the left lane. I'm still showing a jam behind that, so hopefully that will thin out quickly. But there was an early morning accident there. Also on the Illinois side, we've got a report of an accident. It was an overturned tractor trailer westbound 70, the exit to 143 on the Illinois side. Now, back on the Missouri side, we had an accident westbound 64 out west at the 70 ramp, so just take care through there. And there was an earlier accident reported New Halls Ferry at Parker. Other than that, we're quiet. Quiet through North County on westbound at 270. And eastbound 70, 64, 40, and 44 all look good from out west into downtown. From the Window World Traffic Center, I'm Sue Thomas. 6:05 at 97.1, St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
All about tons of sunshine on this Friday as we kick off the month of November. 62 for the high, but it is chilly going out the door this morning. Tonight, clear skies, 50s for evening plans, 43 for the low. The weekend, first weekend of November, Saturday, gorgeous. Partly sunny and 66. Lots of clouds moving in Saturday night as we set our clocks back 1 hour. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
6:06 and 45 degrees right now. All the news you need for your day is on the free Odyssey app. Download it now to listen to St. Louis's home for conservative talk. 97.1 FM Talk.
The Marc Cox Morning Show is brought to you by Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group, retirementkey.com.
The Marc Cox Morning Show.
Listen to both sides.
The bottom line is,
I respect that. We don't agree.
You're listening to the Marc Cox Morning Show.
Just to find a voice. Who is this guy? He's saying what we've been saying forever.
I don't know how to put this.
Marc Cox.
I'm kind of a big deal.
Well, it adds excitement, doesn't it, folks?
All right, good morning to you. Glad you are with us on this first day of November. Happy November, if you can believe it. I think the weather feeling a little bit more like November out there this morning, no doubt about that. It's in the 40s. You're going to feel that. There was some fog as I drove through the Chesterfield Valley. Kind of looked spooky, I guess, post-Halloween stuff.
Same.
Yeah. How'd your Halloween go with the little one?
Yeah, it was great. He was a little lobster, and the neighbors, we went to my sister-in-law and brother-in-law's house in Pacific, and this lady had a bubble machine, and it was the best thing. I mean, Easton was all up in there just chasing the bubbles, and he loved it.
That was the hit there, huh? I'm glad to hear that, because at least last night it was cool enough that if you put your kid in a lobster costume or a furry animal costume. I saw Oscar the Grouch somewhere or something last night. Or Elmo. It was Elmo. That's who it was. Tickle Me Elmo, right? They weren't sweating to death.
Yep.
We got my daughter, famously, my wife's mother, her grandmother went out and bought her a Tigger outfit when she was little. And on that particular Halloween, it was 70 degrees outside. The child had sweat pouring down her face while we're trying to walk around because she, of course, had to wear the outfit because it cost so much from the Disney store at the time. And yeah.
Well, all the kids who had the shorts or the T-shirts on for their costume were probably regretting that last night.
A little chilly last night, no doubt about that. Hopefully you got some candy. I brought in. We're spreading the calories in our house. I brought some of the leftover candy into the studio this morning.
Thank you, Mark.
To give us that sugar rush.
You know what they say? A moment on the hips, or a moment on the lips, forever on the hips.
Yeah. There you have it. So we got lots of stuff to get to this morning. Of course, here we are 3 days out from the election, 3 business days out, I guess technically 2 if you count Friday and Monday, and then voting on Tuesday. But people are voting already. That's the silliness of what's going on in St. Charles County. The question of whether or not you should have watchers in if it's only early absentee voting as opposed to on actual election day. If people are physically in the polls voting, it's voting day. Today is voting day. Today is election day. Go vote. We're going to talk more about that. We're going to talk to a couple of the people running for St. Louis County Council during the show today. We'll get to that for you. We got Wes Martin on a little later. He's the lead pastor out at Grace Church. A3 should be the lead story at each of these sermons. It should have been for weeks now, but it hasn't. That's not necessarily the case at all churches. We're going to talk to the pastor about that coming up in the 8 o'clock hour today. And it's our first responder Thanksgiving. We do this each November. I've got the information up on the Facebook page. You can buy raffle tickets for just $1 and have a chance of winning thousands of dollars in prizes. And the money is all going to Responder Rescue. It's the Responder Rescue ATF, Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms raffle that we do every year, and all the money goes to help our first responders. So you can go there. There's a URL code on there. Why can I not say that word?
Because it's 6 o'clock in the morning on a Friday.
A QR code on there that you can scan with your phone, and it takes you right to the site where you can buy the tickets. We're trying to make it as easy as possible. You can even text to enter if you want to do that. Text Responder to 33100 on your phone. We're making it as easy as possible. So we'll get to all that coming up. Right now, here are our top stories.
The Marc Cox Short List.
I smell a landslide on Tuesday.
That was RFK last night speaking at a Tucker Carlson event, and I thought that, he said, I've been on the road for 19 months now, and this is what I believe is going to happen on Tuesday as he's been traveling the country.
ABC is no good. CBS is no good. And in fact, in honor of you, I just sued CBS today because of 60 Minutes.
Yeah, because not because of why he probably should have sued them from when they denied the laptop, the Hunter Biden laptop, 4 years ago, but the fact that they were basically working for Kamala Harris and actively edited their interview with her to try to make her look like not everything that comes out of her mouth is word salad.
The most important thing that we can do when it comes to gun violence is put those who commit it behind bars. I will say that his incident last week maybe convinced me that gun control might be needed for him.
I was wondering how that was going to go last night. Josh Hawley and Lucas Kuntz, the Democrat running against him for the United States Senate, had a debate over on Fox 2, and it was something to hear. Basically, Josh Hawley sliced and diced him for most of the evening.
That order was vacated by the judge that will hear the case tomorrow. So that order saying, hey, you can't be open. That order's been vacated.
Yeah, that was Kurt Barr, the elections director out in St. Charles County. He was on the Mark Reardon show yesterday afternoon talking about these lawsuits. And here's the thing, and Kurt's welcome on this show anytime in the morning, but I figured since he was just on last night, I'd just use some of that interview with him so he can explain what's going on over there. The guy who filed the lawsuit for the temporary restraining order, it was briefly granted, and then yesterday a judge overturned the temporary restraining order portion of it, but there's still going to be a hearing this morning at 9 o'clock in St. Charles County where they will debate whether or not there should be poll watchers in the polling place. You don't have to be a lawyer to know there should be poll watchers in the polling place. There should. There's no doubt about that, in my opinion. The sad thing about how this came down is Travis Hines told us on the radio yesterday morning, if you were listening, he's the one that filed the suit, that he went to Kurt Barr and said, I want to be in, we need to have watchers in the polls. And Kurt Barr said, no, I'm not going to do that. And he said, you have to do that. And Kurt Barr said, no, I'm not. If you don't like it, sue me. So Travis Hines sued him. And now they're all mad that Travis went to court to try to force them to allow watchers in the polling places.
Let me make sure I understand this correctly as it relates to Missouri law. So they're saying that you should be allowed to be in there as an election watcher or challenger while people are voting, or is it that you can be in there while the votes are being counted? It sounds like that's what the argument is about, is what does the law actually state in Missouri?
No, well, there are watchers and there are challengers.
Right.
The watchers can be in the polling place while people are actively voting.
Okay.
The challengers are the ones that can be there on the day that the votes are being tabulated with the actual, for this candidate, for that candidate.
So on
whatever.
election day, that's when the challengers would specifically be there.
Yes, but watchers can be there at the polls while they're open. And the argument seems to be, well, it's not technically election day yet. Well, then why the hell are we voting?
Right.
We're voting now. Thousands of people, tens of thousands of people have voted so far.
The election actually ends next Tuesday.
I know. The election period is over next Tuesday, since we now vote for a month at a time. So this is where we are, and we'll find out what the court says today. My suspicion is it's a slam dunk for Travis Hines, but we're not going to know before this show is over at 9. It hasn't affected the polls being open. I told you that yesterday. I was the first one to report that. The Post and Channel 2 couldn't figure that out for some reason. They reported it errantly the other night, but I told you all along. The goal was never to shut the polls down. The goal was to force Kurt Barr to allow watchers in the polling place. It seemed pretty simple. All he had to do was say yes, but he didn't want to say yes. So that's kind of why we're in the situation we're in today. I mean, I hope there weren't people who didn't go yesterday because of that bad reporting, but that's not Travis Hines' fault. He's trying to push for election integrity in St. Charles County, and that should be a given in one of the heaviest Republican voting areas in the entire state of Missouri, in my opinion. All right, coming up here in just a couple minutes, we're going to switch our focus here to St. Louis County briefly and the county council race and what's going on there. There's an opportunity here that I wasn't sure I'd see again for a while for Republicans to actually take a majority on the St. Louis County Council. And that's a very real possibility this time around. We'll talk to Sudhir Ruthod when we come back.
A clear view of the roads from the Window World Traffic Center.
Well, things have quieted down on the roads this morning. There was an early morning accident visible on the Cordell and Cordell domestic litigation firm cameras. Westbound on the Stan Musial Veterans Memorial Bridge, it has been cleared. Traffic has thinned out behind that. And now we look good. Northbound 55 is in good shape. Eastbound 70, 64, 40, and 44 all look good from out west into downtown. Quiet on the Illinois side as well. Looking good right now on a Friday. From the Window World Traffic Center, I'm Sue Thomas. 617 at 97.1. St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
I know that some of you, you're sitting around watching TV and you're looking around your living room or whatever the case may be, and you're like, I've been wanting to make changes to your house, to my home, but you don't even know where to start. It just gets kind of overwhelming, right? So the first thing you should do is call the experts at Lakeside Renovation and Design, because this is a fantastic company, family-owned business, been doing this here in the St. Louis area for close to 30 years. And they want to genuinely help you. They are going to answer any questions you have, even if you're not ready to pull the trigger. You just want to get some information. They're happy to walk you through that process. Plus, it is the perfect time, though, if you've been wanting to do the work and you know you're ready to get that started. Lakeside's offering 18 months, no payments, no interest. So that means that you could get this brand new kitchen you've been dreaming about, bathroom, deck, all season room. So even in the middle of the winter, you could be sitting out there and enjoying your backyard. You wouldn't have to make a payment on that until the summer of 2026. Keep in mind, though, that Lakeside also offers top quality siding. They do windows, roofing, a whole lot more. If you want to get an idea of the quality of work that Lakeside does, just go check them out on Instagram and Facebook. Again, it's Lakeside Renovation and Design. The number to call is 636-978-5000, or check out their website at lakesidrenovationanddesign.com.
Odyssey.com is a universe of audio, and it's where you can download the app to stream 97.1 FM Talk. The Odyssey app. Download it today and stream anytime from anywhere. Where St. Louis comes to talk. 97.1 FM Talk.
It's that time again, where we choose who we think is the best candidate for office. It's a difficult decision that requires the evaluation of contenders. Do they have the appropriate skills and experience for this office? Are they the right type of leader? Do they have a clear vision? Selecting the right candidate is no easy feat. That's why, for your office, there's ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes choosing the right candidate for any office easy because they only find and send you the most qualified people for your roles. Best of all, they do it fast. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So, while you're thinking about that really big decision, rest assured that any other hiring decision will be much easier when you use ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Is thinning hair or a receding hairline making you self-conscious? Try Hair Grow from New Nordic. Stop feeling embarrassed about thinning hair and start feeling your best with Hair Grow. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com.
He's right. Marc Cox. That shape this world are happening fast. Keep a level head and stay tuned to 97.1 FM Talk for Democracy 2024.
All right, welcome back. We are talking for just a moment about the local races here for St. Louis County Council. A couple of big ones coming up. Mike Archer's running down in County Council District 6, where he won that primary over Ernie Trachis, the incumbent. That was quite a shocker. We're going to talk to Mike a little later because obviously that's a key seat for the Republicans to hold on to down there. And in the 2nd district, there's an opportunity to flip that seat to a Republican. And we've got candidate Sudhir Ruthod on the phone this morning, running in district number 2. Sudhir, good morning.
Good morning, Mark.
Thank you for giving me a few minutes this morning. There's a lot on the line here, right?
Absolutely. There's so much, and we should not be taking any chance.
So tell me what motivated you to run?
Well, a couple of things. I have, so first of all, my name is Sudhir Ruthod. I'm an American Indian. I've been in the St. Louis County for almost 15 years now and served the community in many ways. But the biggest one is I served on the Parkway Board of Education. And then, I also run for Maryland Heights Mayor. So when you are involved in the politics and when you see how things are being handled by the local administration, then you feel like, God, there needs to be something. Sam Page, how he handles our economy, how he handled the whole pandemic thing, the wasteful spending, it kind of makes you want to run and say, man, you need some help, or we got to fix this. This is not how it's run.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, if you've listened to this show for any period of time, you know the issues I had with Sam Page. I was shocked that he got reelected after the way he handled the whole COVID mess and shutting down, picking and choosing winners and losers in terms of businesses that were forced to go out of business because he wouldn't let them open his doors, and shutting down children's sports and all of those things. And now even dabbling a little bit, it appears, in the county council races, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. In fact, misuse of power is, I think, on his top priority. So let me give you an example. I was nominated by the St. Louis Republican Party for the redistricting board after Amy Poker resigned. And he sit on my resume for like months, didn't even take it, and went and find somebody, I guess he's one of his friends or somebody, and put him on a Republican seat.
Wow. Well, I mean, you're running in a district that I don't know when the last time a Republican held the second district seat.
Yeah, 20 years.
Wow. Yeah. And even in that case, I mean, your opponent is Gretchen Bangert. She's a state representative, and she won her primary over apparently the person that would have been Sam Page's choice up there, right?
Yeah, and that's a shocker. So it's going to be a pretty interesting fight. I have a couple edges that I can feel like, we can flip this. If we all come together, not a single Republican vote wasted, I think we can flip this. So being me, coming from an Indian background, I have that Indian community support with, their hearts open. I have my Muslim community supporting me. I have all my Republican friends on my side. I have my Hispanic community behind me. So, I work with a lot of, African-American folks, and they are supporting me. So with all that power, Mark, I think we can win this seat. There is no doubt in this.
You mentioned wasteful spending, and certainly that's a problem in the county. What are the other key issues you feel like that are facing the county right now?
Well, it's just overall the whole budget thing, the responsibility and the transparency. There is nothing major happening in terms of economic development. Rather, he's just closing out the businesses, not supporting them. And that seems like typical Democrat policies, and I'm against that. If you really want to thrive, you have to take care of your businesses. You cannot solely depend on property taxes, and that's why we have huge property tax issues in St. Louis County.
Yeah, very true. And you kind of had to bring them kicking and screaming in for the senior property tax relief, it seemed like, to begin with. And what's your take on the new county council, the new county office building that Sam Page is pushing for?
And that's another big wasteful spending he's pushing for, the approval. It's just a fire issue. They can fix the sprinklers by spending, few $1 million. You don't have to spend $300 million to set up a new building, especially when we don't have money. The county is going to run out of money, I think, by end of 2025, and we are going to be in a major issue.
Yeah, it's true, and Sam Page has already talked about the possibility of tax hikes to kind of offset that. I mean, my general approach to that is government's not taxes aren't the problem. Government is the problem, and the fact that they won't control their spending.
Exactly. And that's why I'm reaching out to all the voters and say, guys, look, this should not be a partisan race, especially with this kind of situation. You have to pick your candidate wisely. You cannot just blindly say, I'm going to vote for a Democrat. You have to understand who's coming with what vision, what their plan is. The way they are setting up right now North County with just a bunch of, warehouses, that's not economic development. You need to have some solid businesses bringing some big jobs that bring a lot of revenue, and that allows the community to thrive.
Yeah, amen. Well, Sudhir Ruthod, we appreciate your time this morning, and best of luck there in your 2nd District County Council race. I know the voting's already underway. Hopefully we'll have those results next Tuesday.
Absolutely. And I want to wish you, Mark, and your all viewers happy Diwali, because this is the Festival of Lights for India, and this is one of the biggest. So I wanted to say happy Diwali to all of you guys. And thank you, Mark, for having me on the show.
Absolutely, Sudhir. We will talk again soon. I've had a chance to meet Sudhir several times over the years. Very nice guy. Great guy. So there you go. We're going to talk to Mike Archer coming up. He's running down in District 6 in the southern part of the county. That's going to happen at about 8:08 this morning. Stay tuned. Up next, we'll get you a check of business and check it out of the news with Ethan. 6:45.
Is your home, business, or church looking tired, chalky, or in need of curb appeal? Go Rhino. Tired of painting year after year? Go Rhino. Our unique 3M ceramic technology is perfect for brick, stucco, aluminum, steel, color lock masonite, and more. It's backed by our 25-year transferable warranty to not chip, crack, or peel. Great if you're staying, and even better if you're selling. Our ceramic coating allows you to maintain all of your architectural features. The decision to do vinyl will leave your home looking like a plastic moldy box. With Rhino Shield, in 15 years, your home will still have that, wow, it looks like you just got it painted. We've done large condo complexes, parking garages, pole barns, and commercial strip malls. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. Evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
No paint, don't vinyl, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Kamala Harris and Joe Biden are ignoring kitchen table issues. Liberals are fighting to defund the police, indoctrinate kids, open the border, and put boys in girls' sports. I'm Ann Wagner. The people I talk to know better. Let's work for what matters most. Lower costs, parents' rights, and safer streets.
Ann Wagner is working for common sense solutions to the problems you face. She's challenged the big government machine in Washington and delivered a tax cut for middle-class families. Ann has stood with parents to defend their right to make decisions on the upbringing, education, and care of their children, protecting our kids from radical leftist indoctrination. And as crime rises, Ann has worked to protect our safety by fighting efforts to defund our brave police.
I'm Ann Wagner, and I approve this message. So pull up a chair, and together we'll turn the tables on Washington.
Fighting for your family. Ann Wagner for Congress. Paid for by Ann Wagner for Congress.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
All about tons of sunshine on this Friday as we kick off the month of November. 62 for the high, but it is chilly going out the door this morning. Tonight, clear skies, 50s for evening plans, 43 for the low. The weekend, first weekend of November, Saturday, gorgeous. Partly sunny and 66. Lots of clouds moving in Saturday night as we set our clocks back 1 hour. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Good morning. I'm Kim St. Ange for 97.1 FM Talk. 45 degrees now at 6:30. St. Louis County 911 and the non-emergency phone system is back up and running after being down last night. The lines were down for about an hour, and at this point, it's not exactly clear why. The county says 911 calls during that time were redirected to the city. A hearing is scheduled for this morning surrounding that lawsuit accusing St. Charles County Elections Director Kurt Barr of refusing to allow election watchers at the polls. Barr says he will follow the law, which allows those watchers at polling locations. Early voting at both locations in St. Charles County remains open. In sports, the Blues lost 2-1 against the Flyers last night to wrap up the road trip. They're heading back to St. Louis to play Toronto tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Well, last night for Thursday Night Football, the Jets beat the Texans 21-13, ending a 5-game losing streak. Heads up for Mizzou fans, no game tomorrow. That's because they have a bye week. Meanwhile, Illinois will be facing Minnesota at 11. I'm Kim St-Ange. It's now 6:31 and 45 degrees at 97.1 FM Talk.
A clear view of the roads from the Window World Traffic Center.
We had a couple of issues early on in the commute, but they have been cleared, and things are now looking pretty good on the roads. In fact, if you are headed in from Illinois, now is the time. We look good on the bridges downtown. Quiet on northbound 55. I mean, there was a little bit of volume. It kind of appears and then disappears. Northbound 55 in the right lanes at 270. 270 northbound is still in good shape. And we look great eastbound 70, 64, 40, and 44 from out west into downtown. Looks like a typical Friday morning now with light volume. This report brought to you by GHR Contracting. From the Window World Traffic Center, I'm Sue Thomas. 632 at 97.1, St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Not many window companies do egress windows. Those are the ones used in basements or floors with no emergency exit. GHRcontracting.com. We offer same-day install and financing 0% for 18 months, and there's no hassle with price negotiation. Get an upfront quote on the phone. GHRcontracting.com.
Let's talk senior living for a minute. It's a difficult conversation in a lot of ways for folks. They're not quite sure what to expect. They have certain predispositions toward what that's going to mean for them. Boy, go visit Hampton Manor, Wentzville. It'll blow all that out of the water. You ought to see the spa. Looks like something out of the Four Seasons, right? The movie theater with the big recliner seats, the library, the gazebo outside for the nice weather when you want to go out there. I mean, the chandeliers hanging in the dining room are just beautiful. It's like a resort. And that's the point of Hampton Manor, Wentzville, according to the owner. I've sat down with him a couple of occasions describing his vision, and that's exactly what it is. You walk in there, you feel like you're on a cruise ship. And don't take my word for it. Go visit them. Go to WentzvilleAssistedLiving.com. Set up your visit. They'll feed you lunch while you're there. It's just a half mile north of the Lake St. Louis exit at Highway 70. And tell them Marc Cox sent you. Again, WentzvilleAssistedLiving.com. Marc Cox here. I have put together my 2024 general election voters guide with you in mind. The direction of our nation and our state is in your hands now. Visit 971talk.com to see the Marc Cox 2024 voter guide.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
If you've been injured in a truck accident, you need the best. Onder Law, voted 2023's best law firm in St. Louis. Our attorneys will hold truck drivers and owners accountable. We stand up to big trucking companies to get you the compensation you deserve. Let us make your case our cause. Truck accident? Call Onder Law today for a free review. 314 or 618-9-million. That's 314 or 618-9 all zeros.
Republican Adam Schnelting is a husband, father, and a soldier. As an Army combat engineer, Schnelting is trained to fight for us. He's trained to solve problems. As state representative, Adam fought to keep men out of our daughters' bathrooms and sports. He voted to cut our taxes and fully fund our schools. He led the charge in Missouri to secure our border and address the fentanyl crisis. He even earned the endorsement of the Fraternal Order of Police. Vote Adam Schnelting for State Senate.
I'm Adam Schnelting, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Schnelting for Missouri, Mike Summer, Treasurer.
He's got the ammo. Marc Cox.
I should have told Carl to hit the Marc Cox soapbox here, because I'm going to go off for a minute. I'm a huge
want me to do that?
Van Halen fan. Everybody knows that who listens to the show.
What?
But I just read the book Brothers by Alex Van Halen, written in honor of his brother Edward, who passed away 2 years ago. And I was sorely disappointed because I didn't realize how close I was coming to the end of the book. And anybody who followed Van Halen knows that there were two different singers, right? Three, technically.
Yes, I knew that.
Nobody's counting the third guy. Sammy Hagar and David Lee Roth, right? So he covers the start of the band from their childhood.
Most people go the other way.
Through David Lee Roth. to when Roth quit the band in 1984, and that's where he stops. There is not a mention of the name Sammy Hagar except one time when he mentioned in an earlier chapter that they were at some music festival and Sammy Hagar was there. No, Sammy Hagar. He specifically mentioned Hagar as an independent artist. Never discussed the period of time when Hagar was the lead singer of the band, when arguably they had some of their greatest success. And what a bitter individual he must be to have completely ignored that chapter of the band. And then it just ended. It was just over. Carl said, maybe there's a sequel. I'm like, I don't care. I'm just done with him. Now I know where the problem was in Van Halen.
I could not agree more. I feel strongly about that.
I know you
I'm
do.
so glad you brought that up.
I'll bet Nicole Murray is a big Van Halen fan, too.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Totally. Like, who's that?
I mean, I know who that is. It's just, it's not my time.
I know. I get it. I had to get that off my chest. I was feeling very angry about that for a while. Yes, very bitter.
I could feel your anger through the microphone. I could.
Hey, loved your makeup though. I have to say, you and Gordon Deal, and was that Mike who was in there? I mean, with the white face you had on for Halloween, I couldn't really tell.
Yes, it was us three. Those boys have been a trooper with the face makeup that we have done a few times for Halloween.
Yeah, Mark's gotten off easy. I haven't asked him to paint his face or put green spray in his hair.
Mark, we're waiting.
Yeah, no, thank you. I'm good. I wore my garbage bag yesterday. I was a Trump supporter yesterday in my garbage bag. So there you have it. That's the best I could come up with. It included no makeup.
Oh, come on. I know you got it in you.
A little bit of hairspray. That was about it. So
I'm disappointed.
What's going on?
So futures are slightly higher ahead of key jobs data later this morning. Thursday, the Dow Industrials lost 378, the Nasdaq down 512, and the S&P 500 down 108. Economists polled by Dow Jones expect non-farm payrolls to increase by 100,000 jobs in October. This would mark the smallest increase in nearly 4 years. Meanwhile, the unemployment rate is slated to hold steady at 4.1%. The report drops at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Boeing Machinists Union leadership has endorsed the latest contract proposal that includes a 38% pay raise over 4 years and a larger signing bonus. The union is also urging workers to approve the contract. A vote is set to take place on Monday. The average rate on a 30-year mortgage in the U.S. rose for a fifth straight week, returning to its highest level since early August. The rate rose to 6.72% from 6.54% last week. That's according to mortgage buyer Freddie Mac. That's still down from a year ago when the rate averaged at 7.76%. Wawa has recalled roughly 60,000 of its beverage tumblers due to a laceration hazard posed by the product's metal straw. The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission said customers can contact manufacturer Halo Branding Solutions for a silicone replacement or return the tumbler for a $15 Wawa gift card. OpenAI is launching a ChatGPT-powered search engine that could put the artificial intelligence company in direct competition with Google and affect the flow of internet traffic seeking news, sports scores, and other timely information. The original version of ChatGPT was released in 2022. And finally, a new survey by Talk Researcher says that millennials who work from home most likely do so only wearing underwear. However, experts say dressing as though you are at the office can transform your mindset.
That would feel weird. I would not. Yeah, I agree. I would have to maybe not, dress in like a full nice outfit. Like I'm not going to wear a dress to work from home, but not underwear.
I've done this. 100% have done this. Oh my gosh. Well, okay, maybe not only underwear, but we've had like team meetings or company calls that fall in the early afternoon when the rest of us are home. I'll have like a T-shirt on top, but I won't have pants on. Like, what's the point?
What, didn't Jeffrey Toobin get in some trouble for that on CNN?
Well, I'm careful not to let my bottom half show.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, what if you forgot? That's what I don't understand now on radio. Until we came up with this whole idea of broadcasting the show live on Facebook and X and all that, we didn't have to deal with cameras. You could most certainly have gotten away with that back then, but no more. I mean, you have to have some kind of clothing on in case you get up to go to the bathroom in the middle of it. They're going to see you from the waist down.
I can't look like a complete troll anymore. I have to look presentable.
whatever. I think it feels freeing. It's relaxing. I mean, who likes pants anyway? Nobody.
Wow.
Strong opinions about
I'm
pants,
still a
Nicole.
fan.
Very, very, very strong opinions. Gordon looked at me sideways when I told him about this story earlier this morning. So he's like, I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
Yeah.
Hopefully you're wearing pants right now, Nicole.
I may or may not. No, yes, I'm wearing pants. I'm in studio. I have to be. Thank you.
Are there a lot of people upset over there on the East Coast after the Yankees got humiliated by the Dodgers?
Mike Gavin is very quiet this morning.
Oh, man, that was rough. That had
Yes.
to be rough for people living up on the East Coast.
Yeah, it's heavy. It's heavy. And then all of a sudden you have the Jets winning this week. The one time I don't pick them in our football pool. It's like even when New York teams, they are just so frustrating.
That was a good bet, though. I mean, they lost 5 in a row, right? Why would you bet on them for this past weekend?
Yeah, well, now I'm starting off this week in our football pool with a loss, so I'm pissed.
There you go. Yep, I get it. I've only played one of those one time, and I won, and then I quit while I was ahead. So.
Oh, good for
Yeah,
you. Not a
how
lot
about
of people would have quit while they're ahead, so good for you.
Nicole, thank you.
Thanks so much,
Yep.
guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, have a great weekend. We appreciate that. You got to get some rest this weekend. Next weekend's going to be stressful, no matter who you are. Stressful. I tell you.
Well, we get an hour of sleep extra this Sunday to gear up for Tuesday, but I was saying earlier how I would rather have my, the early, or I'm sorry, not the early. I'd rather have it be dark later than dark earlier in exchange for that hour.
It's true. I think to get my frustrations out, I'm going to go kill something today. I'm going to go hunting.
I'm going to stay away from you then.
I'm going hunting today.
So is my husband.
Is he really?
Yeah.
He's going deer hunting.
He's going deer hunting
With a bow.
With a bow because
Yeah.
rifle season hasn't started. So in a couple weeks when that starts, he's going hunting again. It's his birthday tomorrow, and Carl's like, "What are you giving him for his birthday?" I'm like, "Well, he's going hunting the entire weekend." So
you're leaving him
I'm
alone.
taking care of our child.
I just have to tell you, you're a good woman, Kim St. Anne. Just let me
Thank
tell you.
you.
That. On coming up on Second Amendment Radio in the Great Outdoors, Carl will tell you when that airs this weekend. We have a
3:00
fantastic interview with a 20-year-old young lady from Wentzville, Missouri, who was the first woman in the state of Missouri to draw an elk tag. Like you have to put your name in a lottery, and it only started a year or two ago, and she's the first woman to have her name drawn, who's put her name in and been drawn to get an elk tag, and she got one. So she's the first woman to harvest an elk in the state of Missouri, and the rack on this animal is taller than her.
Careful.
The rack on this elk is taller than her. She admitted to us.
5'4".
She admitted to us in the interview she's 5'4".
That's how tall I
She's
am.
standing behind this elk, and the horns are as tall as
That's
she is.
insane.
I mean, it was incredible. It's a great interview. She's a fantastic young lady. And if you get a chance to tune in at 3:00 on Saturday, you can listen.
And Mark's
to that.
like, "What do you do next? You've peaked at 20."
Yeah,
well,
no
now
kidding.
black bear hunting season just ended for
That's
Missouri.
what Mark said.
And they were talking about how I guess it was just shy of 6,000 people had requested a permit, and it's the lottery drawing, and they only approved 400 of them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, how crazy would that be if you're approved for a permit to go bear hunting in Missouri?
So first you have to get drawn to get the tag, and then you have, which is hard enough.
Yeah.
It's almost as hard as getting one. And then you have to go out and try to find and kill
Like
one.
we know there's a few around here, but where would
where
you
do
go
you
to?
even go to hunt them? I mean, do you just sit there
south.
for like a week?
South, closer to Arkansas somewhere.
Yeah.
But still, it's funny
Southeast.
also how Channel 5 has an article about this, and they said that hunters harvested. I mean, killed, hunted? I don't know. Harvested is an odd choice of words for me, but hunters harvested 12 bears in 2023, 8 bears in 2022, and 12 bears in 2021.
Well, they have no natural.
No, I know they don't. That's why they're saying
predators.
harvested.
They have no natural predators. You have to harvest them, or the population.
Why don't you mean kill?
Overgrows. You have to kill them. At some
It's
point, there's
hunting.
too many of them.
Right.
It's hunting. It's hunting. I'm going to go bird hunting
Aw,
today.
see, there's a cute. Of course, they have to show cute pictures of bears when they're
going
talking
to,
about that.
My friend Joe and I are
Come
going to go
on.
harvest some chuckers today, down near Herman. So
Some what?
It's going to be for chuckers.
What the heck is a chucker?
It's a little smaller than a pheasant, and a little bigger than a quail.
Do you use a dog like you do with pheasant hunting?
We do, because they're out in the field, and you have to go in. The dog goes on point. It's really cool.
Is there
It's my
a
favorite
call,
kind of
like a
hunting.
pheasant call? That
No.
No.
No,
Okay.
they hide
Because I
from
know
you.
with the deer, when my husband goes deer hunting, he has that little thing that.
Deer whistle.
Yes. Thank you. And then sometimes they'll take the
horns
and you
yeah.
clack them together.
Yeah,
Clack them, is that a word?
And you take the deer whistle and you put
It's
it on
called
your car.
rattling. You
Backwards.
rattle
Thank
them.
you. See,
There you go.
clearly
See?
I don't go deer
You
hunting.
have to rattle
I'll
them
eat
in
the
order,
deer.
in order to harvest them.
We had deer sticks last year for like so many months, and they were fantastic.
They are good. You brought
no,
some
I
in,
heard.
didn't you?
No. That's not from me. I
It was
think it
good.
was Ryan Wiggins. And you guys, did you eat some? I think it's dog treats.
I did not eat any of that.
Did you, Carl?
No.
I had a Reese
I'm
cup. I'm still
Okay,
eating
so did I.
Halloween candy here. Good. All right,
There's
coming up.
also some food left over from yesterday's Halloween party.
You mean the botulism food in there?
What is
Yeah,
up
they
with the
left it
fact
out.
everybody who works a morning shift can relate to the fact that the night shifters don't ever put the food in the fridge. I'm not talking just at our office. I think that's a consistent thing. Every place I've worked, you come in the morning and you're thinking, oh my gosh, why was somebody not able to take 5 seconds and put it in the fridge for us early morning people to
we don't
enjoy
get
it?
no respect.
18-hour-old corn.
I know.
It's a hard knock life, you guys.
Coming up, we'll get to Ethan within other news. Next hour, J.J. Carafano is going to join us from the Heritage Foundation. Stay tuned.
A clear view of the roads from the Window World Traffic Center.
We had an accident reported Chesterfield Airport Road at Olive, but for the most part, we're in pretty good shape here this morning, at least on the interstates. If you are headed in from Illinois, we do have some moderate volume for the length of the Poplar Street Bridge, but we do see the beginnings of some volume along northbound 270, mainly a little bit at Gravois and then Big Bend on up through Manchester. Looks like 55 is still in good shape from down south into downtown. Eastbound 70 looks good, 64 from out west into downtown. And there's some moderate volume westbound on the Poplar Street Bridge, but it's really not bad. From the Window World Traffic Center, I'm Sue Thomas. 648 at 97.1. St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
The Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Guy Benson joins us.
If you just look at the words, the behavior, the language, it seems like the Trump campaign is more optimistic.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
Experience the beauty of custom-crafted windows that enhance your home's aesthetics and energy efficiency. Look no further than Infinity from Marvin, proudly brought to you by Lakeside Renovation and Design. Why choose Infinity? These windows are not just strong, they're 8 times stronger than vinyl, providing unmatched security for your home. Plus, with Lakeside's expert installation, you're guaranteed precision and perfection. Visit our showroom or call Lakeside Renovation and Design today. Elevate your home with Infinity from Marvin, where strength meets style.
Are you a business owner looking to grow and succeed? The St. Charles Regional Chamber is here to help. I'm Scott Tate, President and CEO. As the region's largest chamber with nearly 1,200 members, we offer networking, marketing resources, educational programs, and more to support your business. Whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur or starting out, we have the right membership option for you. Explore our investor levels for exclusive benefits or try our free basic membership. For more information, visit stcharlesregionalchamber.com.
Hey, it's Tom Ackerman. Where do you go for your annual eye health examination? Ophthalmology Associates, of course. Doctors Greg Birdie and Ranjan Malhotra. Dr. Robert Bersati, he's the one I saw, or Dr. Andrew Royer. They are available to you and are there to take care of all your vision needs at Ophthalmology Associates. They're on Manchester Road, a half mile west of 270. Your vision is their business at Ophthalmology Associates. In fact, many of their patients are doctors themselves. That's why they call themselves the doctors, Ophthalmology Associates. Are your eyes itchy and scratchy? It could be more than just allergies. They're the leaders in dry eye diagnosis and treatment. They're the leaders in LASIK and discussing those procedures. And if you're having difficulty reading or driving at night, you have glare from oncoming headlights, could be early signs of cataracts, and they can talk to you about multifocal lens implants. Ophthalmology Associates, yourEyeDoc.com.
Cut through the hype. Get to the truth. The Marc Cox Morning Show.
What's happening?
Go, you know the thing.
What the heck?
hell is going on?
In other news.
It looks like Warner Brothers is exploring a potential Game of Thrones film, marking the franchise's possible move to the big screen. Although still in early development, the idea reflects a shift in Warner Brothers' strategy, moving away from HBO's longstanding preference to keep Game of Thrones exclusively as a prestige TV series.
Wow, that would be awesome.
Nah, I disagree. I think a lot of these shows, they were so well done, you just need to leave it. Like they're rebooting The Office. Come on. I mean, you already kind of ruined it the last few seasons once Michael Scott left. And I feel like a lot of these shows, they're movies, they do sequels or reboot a show. And it's very often not as good as the original.
Yeah, but I'll just say, the great thing about it is if they do a movie, it doesn't matter what happened in the series. Like actors that they killed off in the Circe or whatever they killed off in the series, they could bring back in the movie and do a movie about that time period. That would be fantastic.
Or maybe rewrite the ending.
Or several of them.
Because that ending was
terrible.
terrible.
That's terrible. I would agree
Let
with
him
that.
finish the book first, maybe.
That is never going to happen.
Do you know
Never.
how many pages those books are?
Yeah.
They're huge.
Winter is coming.
He hasn't finished the last one yet.
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
A federal judge has ruled that the accuser of Sean Diddy Combs, identified as Jane Doe, must reveal her identity or her lawsuit will be dismissed. Judge Mary Kay, not going to say the last name, can't say it, stated that the accuser's privacy interests must be weighed against the public's right to open judicial proceedings and the defendant's right to a fair defense.
Isn't she a rape victim, potentially?
Yeah,
Potentially.
I don't get that.
Huh.
I don't know. Something's going on
I
there.
thought if you're a sexual assault victim, you shouldn't have to.
You're protected.
Yeah, I would think.
You would think. It looks like Joe Exotic, the former zoo operator and star of Tiger King, announced on social media that he is engaged again, this time to 33-year-old Jorge Marquez from Mexico, currently serving a 21-year sentence in Texas prison for a murder-for-hire plot against Carol Baskins. Joe Exotic shared his plans to marry Marquez in prison and help him seek asylum in the U.S.
That's just a nice story.
So is Marquez serving in prison with him?
No, he is not, but he is not legal. So he's trying to get his, if he
Green
gets
card.
married, he will get, his status.
How old is he?
Joe
He's gotta
Exotic,
be in his 50s.
No, I thought he was, I actually saw he was in his 60s.
He's in his 60s?
Yeah, I believe so.
Wow.
I think I want to say 61.
61, you're right.
Nailed it. A Russian court has fined Google an astronomical amount of 20, I don't even know if this is a word, decillion. It's 20 with 37 zeros behind it after YouTube blocked 17 Russian TV channels and media outlets. The channels were removed following Russia's 2022 invasion of the Ukraine. The fine issued by Moscow court far exceeds Google's market value of $2.15 trillion.
It's also more, it's like 3 times as much money as there is in the world.
Jeez.
You
These
know,
are not
they'll
serious
pay.
people. But go ahead.
Chrysler is recalling certain 2025 Ram 1500 trucks due to a potential issue with the front wheel hub encoder ring, which could disable the electronic stability control system. The recalls affect about 34,000 trucks and does not meet federal motor vehicle safety standard requirements for stability control. Owners can check if their truck is affected by visiting the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration's website. So go and make sure your truck's not going to fall apart.
Another day, another recall.
Seriously, it's that or Listeria every day. Instagram's head, Adam Mosseri, recently shared that the video quality on the platform can vary on content popularity. In an Ask Me Anything, he explained that the quality of videos for reels or stories may be enhanced or reduced depending on their reach. The approach aims to highlight top quality content, but some worries it puts smaller creators at a disadvantage as lower reach could result in lower quality videos.
Well, that's, is it a bandwidth issue maybe?
I don't,
that's
maybe,
weird
but
to me.
they're just putting out the higher quality, which would explain why ours are probably crappy.
Come on now.
I'm just, not our content, but
Smack
like
him, Kim.
sometimes
You're close enough to him. It's okay.
I'm not
Kim
saying the
works hard on
content's
those.
bad.
I get
I'm
it,
saying
Ethan. I hear
that
you.
We don't have that many followers. Get out there and follow
Everyone
us on
go follow
Instagram.
97.1 of the Marc Cox Morning Show on Instagram and Facebook.
There you go.
All right.
A woman is suing Subway, alleging grossly misleading advertising over the amount of meat in their steak and cheese sandwiches After purchasing a sandwich based on the image from the Subway app, she found the actual portion of meat insufficient and claims it constitutes false advertising. Her lawsuit seeks damages for New York customers who bought steak and cheese sandwiches in the past 3 years.
Is it really steak?
Probably
like
not.
Some of their meat is not like really.
It's probably this.
Like really ham or turkey or something, is it? I don't know.
I mean,
I'm just
be
asking
real.
a fair question.
The portion sizes are always smaller in
Always
person.
smaller.
At anywhere you go, really.
Yes. They never look like they do on the ad. Ever.
Never.
Just never going to happen, for sure. All right, coming up, we got J.J. Carafano is going to join us from the Heritage Foundation. Coming up, we'll get his thoughts a few days out from the election and what's at stake here when it comes to world security. How about that? We'll be right back.
Attention, Missouri Republicans. Donald Trump Jr. has endorsed Amendment 2. Don Jr. calls legalizing sports betting a no-brainer for Missouri. Right now, 38 states allow sports betting, including 7 of Missouri's neighboring states. Amendment 2 will give Missouri fans the freedom to bet too, and that means our money will stay at home instead of going to other states. Legalizing sports betting will generate more than $100 million for Missouri schools without raising property taxes. That's why our Republican candidate for governor, Mike Kehoe, is joining Donald Trump Jr. in supporting Amendment 2, generating more money for Missouri schools without raising property taxes, giving Missouri fans the freedom to bet on games. Donald Trump Jr. has it right. Voting yes on Amendment 2 is a no-brainer for Missouri Republicans. Join Don Jr. in saying yes on 2. Paid for by Winning for Missouri Education, Mike Pridmore, Treasurer.
Hey, St. Louis, are you in search of top-notch cybersecurity solutions? Look no further. ThrottleNet is here to help. Ransomware attacks are on the rise, putting businesses like yours at risk. Don't let cyber criminals jeopardize your hard-earned success. ThrottleNet provides comprehensive cybersecurity services tailored specifically to your unique needs. Our award-winning customer service provides 24/7 protection to keep your data safe and secure. Take charge of your digital security today. Protect your business, protect your future. ThrottleNet.com, your reliable partner in cybersecurity.
Life is challenging and ever-changing. Take control with passive income through real estate investing. Learn how. Learn now. Let Del Walmsley and Lifestyles Unlimited's investors and mentors show you. Meet Del's team live in St. Louis. 2 days only at the Hilton Frontenac, Saturday and Sunday, November 9th and 10th. Register now at DellHelpMeNow.com. That's DellHelpMeNow.com. Enter promo code 2024 for a special discount offer. DellHelpMeNow.com. Code 2024.
Are you worried about the state of the economy? Concerned about market crashes and rising inflation wiping out your savings? At Noble Gold Investments, we understand your fears and have a solution. Call us today at 1-888-403-1050. Imagine safeguarding you and your family with a tangible asset that has stood the test of time. Gold. With Noble Gold Investments, you can diversify your portfolio and protect your wealth from economic turmoil. Our team will guide you through the process, ensuring you make informed decisions that best suit your needs. Call Noble Gold Investments today at 1-888-403-1050. That's 1-888-403-1050. The future is uncertain. Take control now. Call 1-888-403-1050.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Just 4 days to go. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
If elected, Donald Trump on day one would walk into that office with an enemies list.
Vice President Harris in Las Vegas after a rally in Reno.
At the top of my list is bringing down the cost of your living. That will be my focus every single day as president.
If she gets 4 more years, Kamala Harris will pick your pockets bare. We will not have a country. Everyone will flee. Our companies are going to flee.
Former President Trump also in Nevada at a rally in Henderson, again critical of President Biden, calling his supporters garbage.
How stupid is a man to say that? But she believes it too. I'd love to hear that conversation now.
And there's more controversy about that Biden garbage comment.
The White House stenographers come with the House. They are not political. Some of them have been there since Trump and will be there after Biden. And they are now as mad as you will ever hear a stenographer on the record that White House officials working for President Biden tried to change the meaning of their transcript. So it sounded like the president on that Zoom with Voto Latino was just criticizing a comedian instead of all Trump supporters.
Fox's Peter Ducey. That edit put an apostrophe after the R in supporters to try to make it look singular, and only referring to that comedian at the Trump Sunday rally, calling Puerto Rico garbage. There'll be Trump and Harris rallies tonight in Wisconsin, another toss-up state. Nearly 64 million Americans have already voted early. A real scare. During a Halloween celebration in Orlando, Florida after midnight, someone started shooting in the streets, sending people running, causing chaos downtown.
Certain clubs were kicking people out. Certain clubs were locking everyone in.
2 people were shot dead, 6 others wounded. A suspect was arrested, a 17-year-old. The number of deaths in Spain after massive flash flooding this week has just been upped to 200 plus, with more people still missing. America's listening to Fox News.
So this new dose is, well, nope, that's not it. The price is nowhere to be found.
Mr. Green? Hi, it's all good. We've got this.
This is not just help from a Walgreens pharmacist.
Oh, new prescriptions. Cool. Let me check to see if these are the lowest cost options covered by your Medicare plan.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
This is someone supporting you every step of the way. Chat with a pharmacist today to find help saving. This is the human kind of help. Walgreens.
Hey, Donald Trump Jr. here. Central banks are buying gold at record amounts, and the trend is accelerating in 2024. They see the writing on the wall. The dollar is failing. Is gold the answer for you too? To find out, get a free info kit from Birch Gold Group by texting the word SHELTER to 989898. That's SHELTER to the number 989898 to get your free info kit from Birch Gold, the only gold company I trust, right now.
Message and data rates may apply.
Good morning. Welcome into Friday. 45 degrees now at 7:03. I'm Kim St. Ange for 97.1 FM Talk. The home of City SC is getting a new name. City Park will now be called Energizer Park, following a new partnership with Clayton-based battery and portable light company Energizer. City SC CEO says she hopes this new partnership will help continue the club's efforts to revitalize downtown St. Louis. Domestic violence is being blamed for a Wentzville woman's death. Police responded to a home in the 100 block of Katie Lynn Court early Thursday morning and found the woman shot. She leaves behind 2 young kids. Her family says she was also pregnant. Fox 2 found she'd been in contact with a domestic violence organization since 2022. 39-year-old Daryl Tyson Jr. is now in custody. A hearing is scheduled for this morning surrounding a lawsuit accusing St. Charles County Elections Director Kurt Barr of refusing to allow election watchers at the polls. Barr says he will follow the law, which allows the watchers at polling locations. Early voting at both locations in St. Charles County remains open. It's 7:04 and 45 degrees at 97.1 FM Talk. In sports, the Blues lost 2-1 against the Flyers last night to wrap up the road trip. They're heading back to St. Louis to play Toronto tomorrow at 6. Last night for Thursday Night Football, the Jets beat the Texans 21-13, ending a 5-game losing streak. Heads up for Mizzou fans, no game tomorrow. They have a bye week. Meanwhile, Illinois will take on Minnesota at 11 o'clock. 45 degrees now coming up on 7:05. You're listening to 97.1 FM Talk.
A clear view of the roads from the Window World Traffic Center.
Well, we've got an accident in North County, but it's eastbound at 270 at Lilac. And from the Cordell and Cordell domestic litigation firm cameras, I'm looking at it. They've got both lanes blocked. So eastbound 270 completely closed right now at Lilac. This accident involves a tractor trailer and 2 vehicles. And we've got a jam behind it that obviously is building. And if you are, wait a minute, it looks to me like this is westbound. Yep, it's westbound. I'm sorry, it came down immediately as eastbound, but it's westbound. So if you are headed in from Illinois, expect a serious delay here coming off of the Chain of Rocks Bridge. So watch out for this. This is the worst of it right now. Other than that, eastbound 70, 64, and 44 all look good out west into downtown. And we have that typical light Friday traffic. If you are headed in from Illinois, things look fine on the bridges downtown. From the Window World Traffic Center, I'm Sue Thomas, 7:05 at 97.1, St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
All about tons of sunshine on this Friday as we kick off the month of November. 62 for the high, but it is chilly going out the door this morning. Tonight, clear skies, 50s for evening plans, 43 for the low. The weekend, first weekend of November, Saturday, gorgeous. Partly sunny and 66. Lots of clouds moving in Saturday night as we set our clocks back 1 hour. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
7:06 and 45 degrees right now. All the news you need for your day is on the free Odyssey app. Download it now to listen to St. Louis's home for conservative talk. 97.1 FM Talk.
The Marc Cox Morning Show is brought to you by Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group, retirementkey.com.
The Marc Cox Morning Show.
I want to compliment your show on how fair and level-headed everything you guys talk about.
Who is this guy? He's saying what we've been saying forever.
Maybe what we need from a conservative standpoint is...
The Marc Cox Morning Show.
I respect that. We don't agree. Listen to both sides.
This.
Let's get it on.
Is the Marc Cox Morning Show.
All right, happy Friday to you. Happy November 1st, if you can believe that we've made it to November 1st already. I remember when this election seemed like a distant memory, and now it is upon us. And on Tuesday night, we'll know the results of all the state races anyway in Illinois and Missouri. And maybe by Wednesday or Thursday, we'll know what's going on nationally.
I'm not even convinced.
Or, and this will be a little controversial, or we might know a little sooner than that. Hold on. Let me listen to RFK here yesterday.
I smell a landslide on Tuesday.
All right, so I don't know how you feel about that. RFK seems to think there could be a landslide in this election, which would certainly make me feel a lot better on Tuesday night.
Well, I agree. Did you see the slip up by some ABC affiliate where they ran a graphic that said that Kamala Harris was the projected winner? I forget which swing state it was. Was it Pennsylvania?
I'm
was it Pennsylvania?
so glad you brought that up. Might have been South Carolina or
It was
somewhere
Pennsylvania.
Was it PA?
Okay, I thought Pennsylvania. Yeah.
So I'm so glad you brought that up because we can read more into that than there is. Kim and I both worked for TV stations for years. Election night is complicated, and you have to make sure that your system is operating before you actually go through it, and that you can tabulate, you can enter information, and it's going to go up on the screen. And I'm sure that's all this was. They were putting fake data in there just to show results so they could make sure their graphics were working, and somehow it got pressed up live on the air. Now, that's the odd part of it because there are safeguards against that happening. But, we have things that pop up here on occasion that aren't supposed to air. Right, Carl?
All the time.
I'm just saying, it happens. I wouldn't read any more into it than that.
No, I agree that it was just probably a slip up, that they were testing it out. But it is kind of funny that the test included Kamala Harris being the projected winner. And how funny would it be? And I don't remember what the percentages were, but how funny and crazy would it be if that was actually the way that it panned out in Pennsylvania?
Well, let's hope not.
My gosh.
Let's hope not. There's another poll out this morning that shows Trump leading in all of the swing states now. And, what do you do with polling at this point? We don't know how accurate it's going to be. All we can hope is that he's under polling, even in states where it's tied, and he's actually got a several-point advantage. I don't know who could pull a lever for her, to be honest with you. Very interesting conversation yesterday between Vivek Ramaswamy and some liberal college student who it was a black lady who was arguing with him, and I'll let you listen to it here in a minute, who was arguing with him over the fact that she's oppressed. And he told her that she lives in the greatest country in the world. Why would she think that? Hey, did you not listen to our interview with Evelyn last week? I mean, come on. She moved here 16 years ago from a foreign country, not speaking the language, and today she's a homeowner, and she gets angry when people tell her she's oppressed, and she's living the American dream.
All you say is, what rights do I have that you don't have? That's the first question you can ask them.
Vivek handled this beautifully. I'll let you listen to a bit of it here in a minute. We're going to get to Jim Carafano up here in a few minutes, but first I want to get to the short list, please.
The Marc Cox short list.
I smell a landslide on Tuesday.
Yeah, there he is. RFK was speaking at a Tucker Carlson event last night. When he made those comments, the crowd went crazy. Let's just hope that he's not overly confident.
On a scale of 10 being can't think of anything else and may need some additional medication, I'm like at a 7.
Yeah, Rosie O'Donnell, if you actually care what she thinks these days, she's not looking too good on that video. But anyway, she's nervous as can be about the outcome of this election because, like the Harris campaign, she knows which way things are trending.
I grew up as a child of the civil rights movement. My parents would take me to marches when I was in a stroller.
Donald Trump said yesterday, Kamala Harris, you wouldn't elect her as dog catcher. Why would you put her in charge of the most powerful economy and military in the entire world?
My opponent has a plan that he wrote himself where he says he wants to eliminate all fossil fuels. That is oil, diesel, gas, and the biofuels that we blend right here in the state of Missouri.
Yeah, Josh Hawley was tearing it up last night against Lucas Kuntz in that Fox News debate, just as we assumed that he would. I mean, he owned Lucas Kuntz when he ran into him in that barn at the state fair, and last night he tore him up again. Kuntz won't even mention Kamala Harris's name. He's running from his own presidential candidate in the state of Missouri because he knows Donald Trump's going to win by 20, 25 points in the state of Missouri probably, and he didn't want anything to do with it. I thought it was a pretty interesting back and forth last night there on the debate stage.
Let me just say this, that at the end of the day, I think it's absolutely vital that we protect our women and children in this state. And that's why I cannot support legislation that would allow sex change operations for minors without parental consent. Now, my opponent has supported it. It's not just recently. He supported it for years. He supported men in women's locker rooms and men in women's sports. When he ran for the Senate last time, he endorsed both of those measures, and he endorsed the Democrats' national legislation earlier this year that would have imposed sex change operations for minors in Missouri. Well,
yeah. Miss Washington over there at Channel 2 trying to silence Josh Hawley. I guess they didn't have the rule where you had to have your mic clipped between segments.
Just the little bell.
Yeah, it was just.
Should
a bell
I do that, Mark?
Ding, 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 ding.
I could implement that here.
I know. We probably want to sometimes when I won't shut up. Listen to Vivek Ramaswamy, though, yesterday with this lady he was arguing with. I don't know if it was a town hall or where they were, but Felicia is convinced she can never succeed as a black female attorney in this country because she's so oppressed. Listen.
What other country for an African-American woman is better than the United States of America?
Well, I live in the United States of America, so
exactly.
I only want to talk about the United States of
Right,
America.
exactly. So what country, when I talk about whether America is great, I'm not talking about whether America is perfect.
Well, that's why I'm confused, because when was America great for somebody like me? You just told me
I think America's been great. Yeah, so I think America
great. You just told me where somewhere else that America was great.
Yeah, exactly.
So you just told me basically that it wasn't great
I think America,
for me.
I think America is the greatest country on planet Earth for you.
How?
That's what I believe. That's what I believe. Because this is a country where you can
Because
achieve the maximum of your
an
God-given potential by
African-American
working hard.
I am an African-American woman still facing institutionalized, systematic racism.
I don't believe that.
I'm an African-American woman still facing institutionalized racism. Talking to a brown-skinned man named Vivek Ramaswamy, who's, an Indian immigrant to this country, and he's like, nonsense. You can do anything you want. I go back and listen to our interview with Evelyn, the Liberian immigrant last week. If you missed that, first of all, it's an emotional, great interview to listen to. She's passionate about America. She's angry about illegal immigration, and she's really angry when somebody claims they're oppressed. She's like, nobody did anything to me. I'm a free woman. I came here and I worked and I own a home. I own a car. Get out of here with that. If you were born here, you were born with a golden ticket. And this Felicia girl has been raised to believe she can't succeed in America.
Yeah, what Evelyn said was, okay, if you're so oppressed here, why don't you go over to Africa? And she said, I'll give you 1 week. And she doesn't even think that half these people would survive a week there.
It's eye-opening. Go listen to it. It's on the podcast from last week. So when did we air that? What day was that?
Monday.
It was Monday, wasn't it? Last Monday?
Yes.
Yeah, please go look that up. Monday of this week. So be sure and look up the interview with Evelyn. All right, coming up, Jim Carafano. And then we're going to talk a little bit more about the fact that we're 3 days out from Election Day, and the White House is altering transcripts to try to cover up what Joe Biden said, calling you all garbage. We'll get to all that for you straight ahead.
A clear view of the roads from the Window World Traffic Center.
Well, we've got a pretty good accident here, westbound 270 up north, and it is right at Lilac. And this one involves a tractor trailer and a couple of cars. They've got the right lane blocked. At least they reopened it. But we do have a jam back onto the Chain of Rocks Bridge. So if you are headed in from Illinois this morning, pretty serious delay up north. Now, elsewhere, we look good. Eastbound 70, 64, 40, 44. From out west into downtown, looking good this morning. There is an accident reported on northbound 141 north of Clayton Road. That is causing a delay this morning. If you are northbound on 55, it's just the usual volume at this hour. It's really not bad. I should say it's the Friday version, which is a little bit lighter. And if you're headed in from Illinois on any of the bridges downtown, things look fine. From the Window World Traffic Center, I'm Sue Thomas. It's 7:17 at 97.1, St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
I love the Range St. Louis West. Can I just tell you that? I'm a member out there. I enjoy going out and shooting and purchasing ammunition and occasionally a firearm from them. I also love the fact that they've got the backs of our first responders. We're doing our ATF rally right now for Responder Rescue. They donated a CMMG MK-47. It's a 9mm rifle with a folding stock. It's got a value of over $2,100. The tickets are just $1 a piece. So all the information's on my Facebook page, or you can go to therangestl.com and find details as well. That's what they do. They give back to the community. They love supporting first responders, police, firefighter, EMS. They're always there for you. They do training, great training at the range, and one of only 2 in the entire state ranges that have been given the NSSF 5-star designation. That's the National Shooting Sports Foundation. That's a big deal. To get that recognition is a big deal. And of course, they were voted best indoor range in Missouri for the last 7 years by Missouri magazines. If you haven't been there, go visit them. 14803 Manchester Road in Baldwin. Or you can shop online anytime. Tell them Marc Cox sent you. Go to therangestl.com.
Hey Alexa, hey Siri, play 97.1 FM Talk. Available on your smart speaker any time of day. St. Louis's home for conservative talk. 97.1 FM Talk.
Is your home ready for the holidays? Beat the holiday rush and call our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at $129. Take $75 off your air duct cleaning. Book online anytime at ZeroResSTL.com.
If you're experiencing low energy, brain fog, or bloating, then your body might need a detox. Active Liver from New Nordic makes it easy to help your liver to detox your body all year long without major changes to your diet or lifestyle. Active Liver is available in stores at CVS or online at Amazon.
For details and a list of all station contest rules, visit www.971talk.com/rules. Winner of the prestigious Marc Cox Morning Show Award every year. The Marc Cox Morning Show.
I went to a party last Saturday night. I didn't get laid. I got in a fight. It ain't no big thing. Late for my job and the traffic was bad. Had to borrow $10 from my old man. It ain't no big thing.
First of all, you're right. The previous administration made a policy decision made a policy decision to shut down that embassy, the consulate. Excuse me. I'm not going to talk about what our potential response. We're not considering any such step at this time, but we've made quite clear to the government of Israel that we oppose the bill.
Well, yes, okay. But do you regard this as some kind of an infringement on your I mean, where the consulate was, or the building still is in Israel. So it's not in the Palestinian territory.
You know, I was born in the South. South Bronx.
All right, we've got Jim Carafano with us, of course, foreign security expert there with the Heritage Foundation. Jim, happy Friday.
Happy post-Halloween to you.
Yes, to you as well. That was kind of frightening. That's from the Biden State Department, where they're now trying to reopen a consulate. They want to open a consulate in Gaza, basically in Palestine for the Palestinians, an American consulate there that Donald Trump shut down.
You know, there's a very famous saying by Albert Einstein: the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
And expecting different results. I mean, the Biden administration has, from day one, committed to a strategy of engaging and empowering Iran, and that would mitigate their behavior, and pressing a two-state solution in Israel, which would solve all the Palestinian and Israeli issues, and putting everything else on the back burner until those two things would accomplish, and that would bring peace and stability to the Middle East. The Obama administration tried that for 8 years. It's an absolute disaster. Trump did the opposite, made enormous progress in the region. Biden came back on day one, went back to the Obama policies. It's a complete dumpster fire. And we all know that there's two things that will force here. One is people who just are stupid and really think that somehow this is going to work because they're just doing the opposite of what Trump would do. And the other is people in the U.S. government who are sympathetic to the Islamist cause and their domination of the Middle East and actually don't care about U.S. policy and U.S. interest. They're much more interested in actually implementing policies that are coming from Tehran and Gaza and so that's what we are. Completely predictable and understandable statement.
Not only has Trump said that he doesn't believe Hamas would have attacked Israel if he were president, which I believe him when he says that, he also talks about, he doesn't think Russia would have invaded Ukraine. Well, now you have, 8,000 North Korean troops who are right there at Ukraine's border, and we're just kind of, I guess, waiting to see what's going to happen with that?
Well, just to put that in context, that's a week's Russian casualties. So the numbers itself are not really going to change the war as we know it. But this is the interesting thing. What are people thinking? If Trump wins, if Harris wins, what kind of messages are we sending? What do we expect? If Trump wins and we know he's going to do everything we don't like, how do we maximize our influence in the next 2 months before he gets into office to make life very difficult for him? If Harris wins, what can we do to kind of say, look, so that I think there's a lot of that going on here, and there's a lot of signaling. And the North Korean thing to me is one of the most interesting. I think Kim's making a huge, massive mistake by doing this.
Wow. Well, I mean, it's no different than what you're saying there than what the Biden administration's been doing administratively, trying to put things in place that would protect bureaucrats in government in case Trump gets elected so he can't go in and eliminate a bunch of government jobs. I mean, it's the same thing. They're trying to do things now to stop that. Listen to what happened yesterday at Kamala's a rally when some pro-Palestinian protesters started chanting in the middle of it. Listen to the word salad she gave them yesterday. Listen.
Let me say something about this. We're here because we're fighting for a democracy. Fighting for a democracy. And understand the difference here. Understand the difference here. Moving forward. Moving forward. Understand the difference here.
Now that there was a lot of meaning in there. If you understand the difference here moving forward, that we're fighting for a democracy. I just want to interpret that for you.
All right, let's play a game, you guys and me. This will be a lot of fun. I'm going to say 3 words, and you tell me the first word that jumps to your mind. And if it's democracy, you're going to get a gold medal. Hamas, Hezbollah, and Iran. Right? The first word that you think of is democracy. Right? That's what we're fighting for. We're fighting for democracy.
Autocracy. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I don't know. The stakes have never been higher on the world stage. What do you think? I mean, European leaders have been relatively silent, but I did hear that there were some members of the Labour Party from England that came to the U.S. specifically to try to campaign for Kamala Harris.
So actually, I'm just back from Europe. I was in 2 European capitals. Talked to a lot of off-the-record conversations. I'll just say 2 things. And you know me, not a Republican, not a Democrat. They all think Trump's going to win. And they all think they have to find a way to work with Trump. And most of them say, this is not hard. Actually, many of the things that Trump wants to do are things that we care about as well. We need affordable, reliable, abundant energy. We need to deal with China. We need to deal with the migration issue. We need to stop the war in Ukraine. And we may not say this publicly and cheerlead for him, and we may not talk about things in the same way, but the reality is a conservative American administration actually wants to do a lot of things that Europeans need to do and make the hard choices on.
Right.
And we're just going to have to figure out how to do that.
Yeah, because I think at the end of the day, they need America's foreign policy to be strong and steady, and they've not seen much of that the last 4 years. So they're probably going to welcome that. Jim, always great to have you on, my friend, and let's keep our fingers crossed for next week.
We'll talk next week, and we'll see how happy we are, right?
Yeah, no kidding. All right, Jim, thank you. J.J. Carafano there, the Heritage Foundation, heritage.org. Love getting him on here, one of our favorite guests of all time. Coming up, we're going to talk to Wes Martin, the pastor over at Grace Church, about why more churches haven't been preaching against Amendment 3. It's coming up on the Marc Cox Morning Show.
Catch anything you missed today by getting the show podcast at 971talk.com.
Kamala Harris and Joe Biden are ignoring kitchen table issues. Liberals are fighting to defund the police, indoctrinate kids, open the border, and put boys in girls' sports. I'm Ann Wagner. The people I talk to know better. Let's work for what matters most. Lower costs, parents' rights, and safer streets.
Ann Wagner is working for common sense solutions to the problems you face. She's challenged the big government machine in Washington and delivered a tax cut for middle-class families. Ann has stood with parents to defend their right to make decisions on the upbringing, education, and care of their children, protecting our kids from radical leftist indoctrination. And as crime rises, Ann has worked to protect our safety by fighting efforts to defund our brave police.
I'm Ann Wagner, and I approve this message. So pull up a chair, and together we'll turn the tables on Washington.
Fighting for your family. Ann Wagner for Congress. Paid for by Ann Wagner for Congress.
Life is challenging and ever-changing. Take control with passive income through real estate investing. Learn how. Learn now. Let Del Walmsley and Lifestyles Unlimited's investors and mentors show you. Meet Del's team live in St. Louis. 2 days only at the Hilton Frontenac, Saturday and Sunday, November 9th and 10th. Register now at DelHelpMeNow.com. That's DelHelpMeNow.com. Enter promo code 2024 for a special discount offer. DelHelpMeNow.com. Code 2024.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
All about tons of sunshine on this Friday as we kick off the month of November. 62 for the high, but it is chilly going out the door this morning. Tonight, clear skies, 50s for evening plans, 43 for the low. The weekend, first weekend of November, Saturday, gorgeous. Partly sunny and 66. Lots of clouds moving in Saturday night as we set our clocks back 1 hour. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Good morning. I'm Kim St. Ange for 97.1 FM Talk. It is 45 degrees now at 7:30. St. Louis County 911 and the non-emergency phone system is back up and running this morning after being down last night. The lines were down for about an hour, and at this point, it's not exactly clear why. The county says at that time, 911 calls were redirected to the city. A hearing is scheduled for this morning surrounding a lawsuit accusing St. Charles County Elections Director Kurt Barr of refusing to allow election watchers at the polls. Barr says he will follow the law, which again allows the watchers at the polling locations. Early voting at both of those locations in St. Charles County remains open. In sports, the Blues lost 2-1 against the Flyers last night to wrap up the road trip. They're now heading back to St. Louis to play Toronto tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Last night for Thursday Night Football, the Jets beat the Texans 21-13, ending a 5-game losing streak. Heads up for Mizzou fans, no game tomorrow. They have a bye week. Illinois faces Minnesota at 11. I'm Kim St. Ange. It's now 7:31, 45 degrees at 97.1 FM Talk.
A clear view of the roads from the Window World Traffic Center.
Looking at the Cordell and Cordell domestic litigation firm traffic cameras, we've got two serious problems right now. And I just sent out a tweet of this one. There is an accident northbound 141, north of Clayton Road, and it's so bad that they have shut down all lanes. Northbound 141 is now closed north of Clayton Road while they try to clear down the roadway from this earlier accident, and we've got a parking lot jam behind it. The other incident is an accident on westbound 270, just a little past Lilac. They've got the right lane blocked there. Now, this one involved a tractor trailer and a couple of cars, and apparently somebody fled the scene. I don't know if it was a driver of one of the cars, but so we've got police looking for that person and the right lane blocked, and there's a jam that goes back across the Chain of Rocks Bridge this morning. Now, things look fine downtown. If you want to take the bridges there or drop down even to the McKinley Bridge, things are fine there. Northbound 270 is in good shape. 55 looks good. It's just those two problem areas. From the Window World Traffic Center, I'm Sue Thomas, 732 at 97.1, St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Hey, you know what? I've been telling you about this Air Comfort, this cool cash that's available from Carrier. Here's the deal. Starting today, you can double. I said that correctly. It was $2,100. Now it's $4,400 in Carrier Cool Cash rebates on qualifying heating and air conditioning equipment. Plus, you get the financing for 72 months at 0%, and you get the utility rebates, and you get the tax credits. There has never been a better time I can think of to go invest in that high-efficiency unit than right now. $4,400 back. Now, that's the most. If you get one that's a little less efficient, it might be a little less money than that, but you will never beat this deal. And 2025 is bringing some changes to the HVAC industry and the equipment that are being forced on them by the government. This is the best time to get what you need and get it at the best price right now. Reach out to them, of course, also if you need service. They're there for you 24/7 at Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Tell them Mark Cox sent you. It's aircomfortservice.com.
It's the most critical election of our time. The stakes have never been higher.
So grab your popcorn and MAGA hats and let's party.
Join the Annie Fry Show for an online watch party. Details at 971talk.com.
If you're considering an annuity as part of your retirement plan, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Annuities can be a useful tool for some retirement investors, but not all annuities are created equal. Every week, we meet clients who own complex annuities that don't suit their needs and, in some cases, actively undermine their retirement plan. Before you purchase an annuity, get a second opinion from the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel. Requesting a consultation is free of charge. To request a free consultation, contact us at clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member NYSE and SIPC.
You're up, we're up. The Marc Cox Morning Show.
Okay, so how's everybody's nerves about this election? You know, let's say on a scale of 10 being can't think of anything else and may need some additional medication, I'm like at a 7. I'm at a 7. So that's all right. I can handle a 7.
Very few times in my life I will ever agree with Rosie O'Donnell, but I'm at a 7 right now. Leading into this election day, I want to be optimistic, but I'm nervous to be too optimistic. We have Ashley Hayek on the phone with us right now. She is with America First Works Executive Director and, of course, a political strategist. Ashley, welcome back.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Where are you on that scale of 10 being I need medication?
Well, I don't care if we're 20 points up. We should always run like we're 30 points behind.
Yes.
Because that's the only strategy to win. And despite the fact that I feel like there's so much momentum on the side of the America First movement and President Donald Trump, we have got to make sure that we are turning out every single vote. The election in 2020 came down to about 75,000 votes in 4 states. And even though conservatives are performing much, much, much better than in 2020, we just cannot take anything for granted.
We can't. We have evidence of, fortunately, I think it's been corrected, but people being able to vote multiple times. The RNC pointed that one out, and I think that was in Pennsylvania, and they supposedly corrected that. Was that Pennsylvania or Michigan? I can't remember. Michigan. And then, of course, in Kentucky yesterday, that video that went viral of somebody pressing the button for Donald Trump on the electronic voting machine, and instead it voted for Kamala Harris. I mean, we have to be nervous when we see things like that.
Well, and we have to also remember that there's going to be a lot of people posting a lot of things on the internet. Some of it is going to be true. I have to say, first of all, what a difference response in 2024 compared to 2020 when it came down to fraud. There was a lot that was happening in 2020, and it felt like no one was responding to it. Whereas now we saw a swift response when people were being refused in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. The RNC jumped into action, filed a lawsuit, and now Bucks County, Pennsylvania residents can vote up until 5 p.m. today. They extended the deadline, which is great for us. So it's things like that we're seeing a very quick response time to by the RNC, Michael Whatley and Lara Trump, that we didn't have before. But again, we have to make sure there's a reason the president said make it too big to rig. We need to make sure that every single one of our voters turns out to make sure that any fraudulent vote doesn't count because there's just too many of us and there are of them.
Yeah. I thought was also encouraging is the Supreme Court judge also said Virginia can continue with its, plan to remove the non-citizens, people who identified as non-citizens. And then you had the Justice Department coming in there and saying, no, you can't do that. You have to put them back on the voter rolls.
Well, and I think even from a communications and campaign strategy, that's a huge win for conservatives as well. This election, we've talked about this for a while, it's about fairness. It's about equal opportunity. And it is not fair for people who are not citizens to be able to vote in our elections. And the fact that our own Department of Justice, they have literally showed their cards. They've called parents domestic terrorists. They have basically championed unfair values. And I think that helps us not just from making sure illegals or non-citizens are voting in our election, but it helps from the point of it justifies every single thing that Donald Trump has been saying for the past 8 years.
Yeah, well, here we are 3 days out now. Technically voting days, Friday, Monday. I guess a few people will be able to vote Saturday. So Friday, Saturday, Monday, and then, of course, it's the big day on Tuesday. What is your best guess, Ashley, unless this is the landslide that RFK suggested he feels is coming yesterday? I'm with you. You can't get too confident on that. When do you think we'll know the results of this presidential election?
I think we've got to know by Wednesday afternoon, and I feel pretty confident we will, given the numbers that we're seeing in turnout. The other thing we've noticed, just hands down, is the lack of enthusiasm. She has not been able to pull Democrats out, and there's so much divisiveness amongst their own party. People are just not showing up for her. So I think that it should be a decisive victory if we do our part and we all turn out to vote.
Yeah. Tell someone about America First Works. What are you guys doing over there?
So we've actually just passed 5 million door knocks in the 8 battleground states. We threw in Ohio there because of Bernie Moreno's race, even though President Trump will win that handedly. But we've done over 5 million door knocks, 20 million text messages encouraging people to vote. We've done over 250,000 phone calls, over 200,000 handwritten postcards from women to other women in the battleground states, just telling them how important this election is. The door knocking has been absolutely phenomenal. We've received over 670,000 surveys from the American people telling us that they care about, number 1, the economy, number 2, the border, and 3, education, and that's why they're voting America first.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, I think it's encouraging. I know there's some states that register who's voting and some who don't. Like in Missouri, they know there have been hundreds of thousands of early votes. We just can't tell you if those are Republican or Democrat votes. Some states you can already tell that the Republican turnout is much better, right?
That's exactly right. Michigan is another state that doesn't report party. Georgia, same as Wisconsin. But what we do at America First Works is we'll use consumer data, we'll use surveys to basically identify trends. And based on trends, we're doing phenomenally well in Georgia, which is why Kamala Harris has moved a lot of her ground team out and put them in Wisconsin instead. But in states like Arizona and Nevada, where they do report party affiliation, it is absolutely phenomenal seeing the numbers of turnout that we've had for conservatives.
Yeah, I've watched it. I'm encouraged by it. In Missouri specifically, and I don't know if you've looked at what's going on here. We've got this Amendment 3 on the ballot that is the pro-abortion amendment, for lack of a better term. But it goes so much further than that. It redefines reproductive health. We see that wording, and nobody knows quite what it means. But in other states, it strips parents of consent on transgender surgeries. And, I mean, it's far-reaching in terms of what it does, and it changes the definition of medical professionals. I mean, it just goes so far. They're trying to put this in the Constitution, and millions of dollars are flooding in here from out of state that we have no control over. They're running all these glossy ads trying to get people to make abortion upon demand a thing in Missouri again, and a lot of local races might be impacted by that turnout.
Well, here's the deal. The left uses issues like abortion to try and drive out their base because there's such low enthusiasm for their candidates. They knew there would be with Joe Biden. There certainly is with Kamala Harris. However, at the end of the day, if you're a candidate running for office, you have to remember to say, that's just not what people are going to decide this election on. I just watched a focus group where the women on there said, yeah, I am, pro-choice. However, I can't feed my kids. I couldn't buy school supplies. We are not in a time where there's a luxury to have all these social issues discussed, and women are really turned off by it. Same with the rhetoric of threat to democracy. When clearly this administration has gone after, school board parents, churches, pro-life dads, et cetera. This is a tactic by the left. They want control over your children. They want control over your life. It's a sick mentality and philosophy. We will come out on the right side of history, and we just have to remember that this is a movement for the American people, and we should have real conversations in the state legislatures about how do we create solutions, how do we create policies that help both the mother and the baby.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Ashley Hayek, thank you for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, take care of yourself. Appreciate that. So the real conversation we need to have in the Missouri legislature is initiative petition reform. But I digress because they blew that last year. We could have, if not avoided this whole mess, made it a much steeper climb, realistically, to have 50% plus one in at least 5 of the 8 congressional districts before you could pass something like that to alter the Missouri Constitution. That makes sure you've truly got support across the state and not just in Springfield and Kansas City and St. Louis.
I think
we didn't do that.
Going into next week on Tuesday, we talk about, are you at a 10 when it comes to just feelings about this election and the outcome? I think that Amendment 3 is what I might be the most nervous about. I'm nervous that people are not going to see through the deception in the wording of the amendment, and they're going to vote yes. Because, I mean, there are conservatives, people who call themselves conservatives, Mark, who have reached out to me, who have heard me talk about this issue on this show, and they say, oh, well, I wouldn't get an abortion, but I think everybody else should be able to make that decision for themselves. Guys, I'm so tired of hearing that. It's not okay. It's not. No. If you're going to protect life, we need to protect life from conception, because how else can you define it? Fetal viability is so vague. It's subjective. When is fetal viability? You cannot objectively define that.
God knows the answer. What's coming up on Kim on a Whim?
Have you seen how many newspapers are no longer endorsing Kamala Harris? They endorsed Joe Biden in 2020, but now they're saying no. Well, ask yourself the question, why have they been doing this in the first place? Should they be?
It's a great question. We'll get to that coming up. Be right back.
A clear view of the roads from the Window World Traffic Center.
Well, we've got a couple of issues on the roads this morning, and one of those is up north. This is the accident on westbound 270, just past Lilac, that involved a tractor trailer and two cars. They've got the right lane blocked, and then somebody fled the scene, a driver of one of those vehicles. So they're also looking for that person. It's a man. And we have a jam that goes back across, or at least partially onto, the Chain of Rocks Bridge. Now, the other issue has been this accident on northbound 141 past Clayton Road. And they had it shut down for a while. It's such a serious accident. And if you are headed in that direction, you can still see a jam behind it. The road is still closed. This is northbound 141 north of Clayton Road. It looks like maybe they're going to be getting ready to open one lane, but I don't know how long that'll be. And in the meantime, people are just sitting in a parking lot jam behind it that keeps creeping back toward Manchester. It's not back that far yet, but it's almost at Highlands Boulevard Drive. Woo! Those are the two issues this morning that are really causing delays. Other than that, we look pretty good. From the Window World Traffic Center, I'm Sue Thomas, 747 at 97.1, St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
The Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Guy Benson joins us.
If you just look at the words, the behavior, the language, it seems like the Trump campaign is more optimistic.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
When you're hiring for your business, ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology makes finding qualified candidates for your job easy. This made us wonder, what if the rest of the world was as easy as ZipRecruiter? Math problems wouldn't be so problematic.
K equals 42.
Escape rooms? Elementary. And summiting Everest would be a walk in the park. In the meantime, if you want to make your hiring easier, use ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Simple. So, see what the world is like when ZipRecruiter does the hard work of hiring for you. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
There's breaking news all day long from around the world, and sometimes all that noise makes it hard to hear about what's happening right here at home. With the free Odyssey app, getting your local news plus breaking news is easy. And even when you're not near a radio, stay connected with what's going on right here by listening live and push alerts. Just download the free Odyssey app and search and follow your local news station, and you're good to go. The local breaking news to get you through your day at your fingertips on the free Odyssey app. That's AUDACY.
If you have hunting property in the state of Missouri, listen up. I want to introduce you to Missouri Brush Control. If you're frustrated with thick brush and limited visibility, Missouri Brush Control can open that up for you. They can come in with their forestry mulching machines and create shooting lanes for you, enhancing your hunting environment and attracting game like never before. Enjoy your hunting property the way you've always dreamed of. To see what I mean, go to their website and check out their gallery of before and after projects. That's MissouriBrushControl.com. Tell them Bo Matthews sent you to Missouri Brush Control.
More ideas, less taxes. The Marc Cox Morning Show. Kim on a Whim.
Kim on a Whim is proudly brought to you by Missouri Brush Control. Enjoy your land the way you've always dreamed of. Learn more at MissouriBrushControl.com.
Thousands of Washington Post readers have canceled their subscriptions after the newspaper announced it would not endorse a presidential candidate. The publisher says it's, quote, returning to our roots of not endorsing presidential candidates. Before 1976, the Post did not typically endorse candidates. Sources tell the Wall Street Journal that an editorial was already in the works endorsing Vice President Kamala Harris. Critics claim the decision was made over fears of retribution from former President Trump.
Oh, come on. We all know that's not the reason why these newspapers all of a sudden that have been endorsing typically, well, maybe always endorsing Democratic candidates are not wanting to endorse Kamala Harris.
Well, what are you suggesting, Kim?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say that Kamala Harris says a lot of word salad and it has never really talked about her actual policies. She just, when she's asked a question about something like her stance on immigration, does she support the border wall? What she typically says is, well, I was raised in a middle-class family.
We had walls. That's her kind of word salad, common sense. Yeah, I think it's a shame, and they can say what they want. I mean, Donald Trump didn't go after newspaper editors the last time he was president. I mean, he went after the news media in general, calling them fake news. But if they truly perceived him as that much of a threat, it would be in their best interest to try to get and help Kamala Harris in every way they can.
Right.
I mean, they're doing it editorially in other ways, the way they're covering news stories. Why not just go ahead and admit it and endorse her again?
And I think it's so interesting that it's not just the Washington Times, which, by the way, has lost some 250,000 subscribers who are mad that they're not going to be endorsing her. But then you think about the LA Times, New York Times, USA Today, a number of local newspapers like the Minnesota Star Tribune, the Des Moines Register, the Tampa Bay Times, all have decided for the first time in decades they're not going to be supporting a candidate. And I don't know if they will moving forward. What will be interesting is if in 4 years they start endorsing again and they make some excuse up about why. I don't think they should have ever been endorsing candidates. That's my problem. Why? What made them want to start doing this in the 1970s?
Maybe it's some sort of radical attempt to revive the newspaper business, right? I mean, look what's going on with the Post. They've got a ghost staff over there. They're very understaffed to begin with. They're bringing in people who are green. They just outsourced all their printing from here in St. Louis because who buys their newspaper anymore? Honestly, when I go to my mom's, where she lives now, right, in a senior living, you'll see some people her age sitting in the lobby reading the physical newspaper, but it's got to be a much older crowd right now. Young people aren't reading newspapers.
Yeah,
if they are, they're reading them online, and they don't make as much money on that.
I actually saw a paper newspaper sitting in someone's driveway in my neighborhood as I was walking, and I felt like I saw a dinosaur. I felt like I needed to take a picture and document it because you don't see that anymore.
Well, they're stopping in January.
Right, but I mean, for months now, years arguably, I just don't see actual newspapers, sitting on people's driveways. I remember as a kid going and picking up the newspaper for my parents. You go get the mail, you go get the newspaper.
I had a newspaper delivery route. I helped with a newspaper delivery route when I was a kid, when I was a teenager. Early teens, still on a bike, right?
The job that's basically obsolete now.
It is. I mean, I know there are people that do it, but they got to be suffering. I mean, they called me up one day and tried to give me 6 months of the Post for $1. I mean, how's that covering any expenses? It's been a while, but they're pretty desperate for
maybe a few gumballs for their staff.
Yeah, I don't know.
I am bothered that these news outlets, these newspapers sit here and try to pretend like they're objective, and then they push out this garbage and they still try to tell us the same story of we're objective, we tell both sides. Come on, why don't you believe us? And this is coming from someone who used to get very angry when I would cover events, including Trump events, where people would scream at us fake news, and I would tell my own family, I can't believe you're saying fake news. We tell both sides, and it wasn't until 2020 when I started covering all these BLM riots and everything else, and the ridiculous COVID pandemic, and I mean, I couldn't even believe it, and it was like once my eyes were open, you can't close them.
I'm sad about it. I'm sad about it in a way. I went to journalism school, not print journalism school, but I hate to see the state of journalism today and the way it's gone. But at the end of the day, they chose this path. That's the problem. Whenever it was in the 60s or 70s, or whenever a lot of these major papers got involved in the process of endorsing one side over the other, 99% of the time that side was the progressive left.
Yes.
They've driven themselves into the ground with that. Now, I didn't do it to them. I mean, I'm sad that we don't have that, but the internet has been the death of them.
They dug their own grave.
The fact that people have options on where they get their information from now, that competition has driven them into the ground.
Yes. There was a YouGov poll conducted on October 29th asking people if they think these newspapers should be endorsing political candidates. They surveyed about 6,000 people. They found 47% believe newspapers should not be backing a presidential candidate. 28% believe they should, and 25% said they were unsure. But you should not be surprised when I tell you that with that survey, they found that more Democrats than Republicans think that these newspapers should endorse candidates.
Well, yes, of course.
That's shocking.
Well, again, and newspapers have done it for years. Television stations have never done it. There's never been an editorial board at a television station where that would say KSDK editorial board endorses Tashara Jones for mayor. They've always steered clear of that. Now, that doesn't mean there hasn't been bias in their coverage,
right?
But they weren't overt about it. And the newspapers have been overt about it, and people have started to see that there's no line between what's going on in the editorial pages, where all the managers work, and what's going on the front page of the newspaper.
Bingo.
It's killed the industry. It has killed that industry, and it's sad. America needs strong journalism, and we don't have it anymore. Coming up, we're going to talk to Wes Martin, a local pastor, about the role churches have tried to play, some of them, in this Amendment 3 abortion debate. And we'll talk about the county council race as well. Stay tuned.
So this new dose is, well, nope, that's not it. The price is nowhere to be found.
Mr. Green? Hi, it's all good. We've got this.
This is not just help from a Walgreens pharmacist.
Oh, new prescriptions. Cool. Let me check to see if these are the lowest cost options covered by your Medicare plan.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
This is someone supporting you every step of the way. Chat with a pharmacist today to find help saving. This is the human kind of help. Walgreens.
An official message from Medicare.
Medicare plans change from one year to the next. And this year, it's important for you to review your current coverage and compare all your options during Medicare open enrollment. Compare health plans, drug coverage, and costs. See if you can save some money, and don't forget to make sure your drugs are covered. Open enrollment ends December 7th. Visit Medicare.gov or call 1-800-MEDICARE.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group. Are you worried about market volatility in this election year? Are you concerned your money won't last you through retirement?
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw, and as a family-owned business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. We have a lot of folks that aren't aware of all the new investment choices that are available, which give you growth and protection from losses at the same time. Are you aware of all the fees that you are currently paying? We can show you how to avoid those fees. So come in now for your free retirement review and get a second opinion on your retirement plan. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. Let us show you how to retire with confidence.
We are proud to say we haven't lost a penny of our clients' money in 38 years, and we won't lose a penny of yours either. Let our family help your family. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Jewels on Hampton and St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches on site. Jewels on Hampton is a premier jeweler featuring Alvanza's jewel art designs with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jewels on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches. Bring in your collectibles and clocks and sports memorabilia and figurines too. Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa, and jewelsonhampton.com. Call them at 314-752-5000, 314-752-5000, and jewelsonhampton.com. Jewels on Hampton.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
A big hiring slowdown. I'm Dave Anthony. In the last big economic report before the presidential election, the October jobs report just out came in way below expectations.
12,000 jobs added.
Fox Business Network Cheryl Casoni.
We haven't seen this number since December of 2020.
The government's also revised August and September hiring down. 112,000 fewer jobs created in those months than first reported. The unemployment rate last month remained the same, though, 4.1%. The economy remains the biggest issue for many voters, especially inflation.
I will enact the first ever federal ban on corporate price gouging on groceries.
Vice President Harris in Las Vegas.
If Kamala is reelected, New Mexico's economy will be reduced to rubble. You're not going to be drilling oil. There's no more drilling. There's no more oil. You can forget it.
Former President Trump in Albuquerque. He also went to Nevada, and both also campaigned in Arizona today. There will be dueling Trump-Harris rallies in Wisconsin, and the former president will also go to Michigan, another toss-up state, and he may again bring up President Biden calling Trump supporters garbage. The White House insists, though, the president didn't, editing the transcript of what he said, putting an apostrophe after the R in supporters in the transcript to make it look singular, like he was only referring to one now infamous supporter. That angered the White House stenography office, which did not improve that change.
The White House is not explaining what exactly happened here, just to say the president confirmed in his tweet on Tuesday evening that he was addressing the hateful rhetoric from the comedian at Trump's Madison Square Garden rally. That was reflected in the transcript.
Fox's Peter Ducey, that comedian, caused a stir calling Puerto Rico garbage. A shooting after midnight in downtown Orlando, Florida, left 2 people dead during a Halloween celebration.
Those victims are currently in stable condition. Shortly after the reported shots fired, a shooting suspect was located and taken into custody.
Police Chief Eric Smith talking about the 6 people wounded. America's listening to Fox News.
So this new dose is... nope, that's not it. The price is nowhere to be found.
Mr. Green? Hi, it's all good. We've got this.
This is not just help from a Walgreens pharmacist.
Oh, new prescriptions. Cool. Let me check to see if these are the lowest cost options covered by your Medicare plan.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
This is someone supporting you every step of the way. Chat with a pharmacist today to find help saving. This is the human kind of help. Walgreens.
Hey, Donald Trump Jr. here. Central banks are buying gold at record amounts, and the trend is accelerating in 2024. They see the writing on the wall. The dollar is failing. Is gold the answer for you too? To find out, get a free info kit from Birch Gold Group by texting the word SHELTER to 989898. That's SHELTER to the number 989898 to get your free info kit from Birch Gold, the only gold company I trust, right now.
Message and data rates may.
Welcome into Friday. It is feeling like November as you're heading out this morning. 45 degrees now at 8:03. I'm Kim St. for 97.1 FM Talk. The home of City SC is getting a new name. City Park will now be called Energizer Park, following a new partnership with Clayton-based battery and portable light company Energizer. City SC CEO says she hopes the new partnership will help continue the club's efforts to revitalize downtown St. Louis. Domestic violence is being blamed for a Wentzville woman's death. Police responded to the home in the 100 block of Katie Lynn Court early Thursday morning and found the woman shot. She leaves behind 2 young kids, and her family says she was also pregnant. Fox 2 found she'd been in contact with a domestic violence organization since 2022. 39-year-old Daryl Tyson Jr. is now in custody. A hearing is scheduled for this morning surrounding a lawsuit accusing St. Charles County Elections Director Kurt Barr of refusing to allow election watchers at the polls. Barr says he will follow the law, which does allow those watchers during early voting. Early voting, by the way, at both locations in St. Charles County remains open. It is 8:04 and 45 degrees at 97.1 FM Talk. In sports, the Blues lost 2-1 against the Flyers last night to wrap up the road trip. They're heading back to St. Louis to play Toronto tomorrow at 6. Well, last night for Thursday Night Football, the Jets beat the Texans 21-13, ending a 5-game losing streak. Heads up from Zoo fans, no game tomorrow. They have a bye week. Meanwhile, Illinois takes on Minnesota. Kickoff is at 11 o'clock. 45 degrees now coming up on 8:05. You're listening to 97.1 FM Talk.
A clear view of the roads from the Window World Traffic Center.
Well, unfortunately, northbound 141 remains closed north of Clayton Road. This is because of a pretty serious accident that resulted in a spill of some sort. I can't tell if it's oil or gas, but it was across all roadways. So they've been trying to clean that up. But in the meantime, northbound 141 is completely closed through there. These poor people who have been sitting behind this, too. So traffic is just a nightmare. It's a solid jam behind it, and it's almost back to Manchester, but not quite. So avoiding that area is a great idea. Now, the other serious incident we had this morning was westbound on 270 at Lilac. Now, at least the left lane is getting by here, but they still have the right lane closed. This accident involving a tractor trailer and 2 cars, and a driver of one of those cars fled the scene, and they've been having to search for that person as well. Now, the other serious jam, well, just backup that I'm seeing is eastbound on 364. And it looks to me like it's just past Mid-Rivers Mall Drive. There's a report of an accident there, and that is causing the delay. From the Window World Traffic Center, I'm Sue Thomas, 8:05 at 97.1, St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
All about tons of sunshine on this Friday as we kick off the month of November. 62 for the high, but it is chilly going out the door this morning. Tonight, clear skies, 50s for evening plans, 43 for the low. The weekend, first weekend of November, Saturday, gorgeous. Partly sunny and 66. Lots of clouds moving in Saturday night as we set our clocks back 1 hour. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
8:06 and 45 degrees. All the news you need for your day is on the free Odyssey app. Download it now to listen to St. Louis's home for conservative talk. 97.1 FM Talk.
The Marc Cox Morning Show is brought to you by Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group, retirementkey.com.
The Marc Cox Morning Show.
Listen to both sides. The bottom line is, I respect that. We don't agree.
You're listening to the Marc Cox Morning Show.
Just to find a voice.
Who is this guy? He's saying what we've been saying forever.
I don't know how to put this.
Marc Cox.
I'm kind of a big deal.
Well, it adds excitement, doesn't it, folks?
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story. And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
All right. Kamala Harris's economy created a whopping 12,000 jobs last month, off only slightly from the supposed 220,000 created the month before. Just thought I'd throw that out there. That's the jobs report that has now come out 3 days before the day when we'll finalize the election. You would call it election day, but it's been election month. Let's put it that way.
It's funny how many news outlets will sit there and try to say, well, you know, I know it feels like the economy's not that great, but actually, here's 10 reasons why we're better off than we think.
But Boeing, but hurricanes, they're going to have all kinds of excuses for why the jobs numbers are so bad. But the hurricane didn't kill 223,000 jobs or 212,000 jobs, whatever the math is there. It didn't kill that many of them. And that's just the way it is. I hope people are paying attention. I hope the news media actually reports that fairly today. All right, we're focusing on the election because it's a big decisions being made nationally, statewide, and locally when we tally up the votes next Tuesday night. One of them is going to be for St. Louis County Council. Now, earlier we talked to Sudhir Ruthod, who's running in Council District 2. The other big race is going to be in the 6th District, where Ernie Tracus got defeated in the primary by my friend Mike Archer, who's running in that district right now, and I've got him on the phone this morning. Mike, welcome back.
Thank you, Mark. Good morning.
Yeah, there's I said this to Sudhir earlier, but there's a lot on the line here in St. Louis County. I mean, potentially, if you and Sudhir are both seated on the council, it kind of flips the balance of power there, doesn't it?
Oh, definitely does. And you can look at the MEC reports and see that Sam Page is running scared because he dumped $120,000 into my opponent's PAC through union money.
Ah, yeah. Well, I mean, it's good to know. And we know what Sam Page wants to do to St. Louis County. He wants to waste $300 million on a new Taj Mahal, right?
Well, I call it the Page Palace. And and all we need to do is retrofit it. The other thing that I think that does not go unnoticed is that that's the Lawrence K. Roos building, and it's named after a Republican. And I think he wants something with the Dr. Sam Page building. So that's why I call it the Page Palace.
Yeah, lots of budget issues. I mean, Sam Page is I think before he even ran for re-election, he hinted at the fact that there might need to be a tax increase in the future in St. Louis County. I mean, we've got to have some common sense people up there on the council that can fight against those things.
Right, and we don't need a tax increase. What we need is the spurring of business. And, you see a lot of that down here in South County where businesses have just been thwarted. And if we had businesses thriving, entrepreneurial businesses like the donut shop next to my house, run by Vietnamese immigrants, that are here legally, it's a situation of where we wouldn't have that budget shortfall because we'd be bringing in a whole lot more revenues. So that's my take on that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously attracting business is one thing. What's your take on what you could do to impact that if you get on council?
Well, first of all, when I knock doors, the first thing that I hear is safety and security. And the St. Louis County Police Department is projected to have a shortfall of 200 officers. So we need to shore that up in terms of safety and security. Second of all, that donut shop that I mentioned, it took them a year to get through the permitting process. So they had a lot of money going out with no money coming in. So that has to change, that permitting process. Now, I understand about the health, safety, and welfare of the people, but irrespective of that, the man told me that, one inspector would come in, find things all right. Another inspector would come in and write him up and say, you have to do this in terms of a deficiency.
Sure.
That was just thwarting the business process, a bunch of red tape that he didn't need. And to top it all off, after they were up and running, now, mind you, this is the sort of the family is running the business. And grandma is in the back. She just came over and she doesn't speak any English. And she was in the back speaking Vietnamese. And Locke says, what does this mean? And I was reading the letter, and it was from St. Louis County asking him to be committed to diversity in the workplace.
Yeah, that was the focus.
And I'm like, getting his business up and running was not the focus, but that DEI was the focus. So that's what I'm going to change.
We got to get some common sense on there. Mike Archer, candidate there in St. Louis County Council 6th District. Good luck next week, my friend. Good luck on Tuesday night.
Well, I really appreciate it, Mark. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. We'll talk soon. Mike Archer there running for St. Louis County Council. Just a quick reminder. In fact, a friend of mine texted me just yesterday. He was in line to vote, and the guy next to him had one of the Marc Cox Morning Show voter guides with him.
There you go.
At the polls. So I saw a lot of people with their ballot, their sample ballot that their counties had sent to them when I went to vote there in St. Charles County. In this case, people are downloading and using the voter guide, if for no other reason. I mean, I don't know that we'll disagree generally on most of the candidates that are running, but for the statewide amendments, you need to understand what you're voting on before you walk in there. You need to understand why they're lying to you about Amendment 2 repeatedly, why they're paying sports icons to lie to you about Amendment 2 and claim that $100 million is going to education. That's not the case. There is no guarantee in this bill. They keep saying it's guaranteed. It's a strong constitutional guarantee. Do me a favor. If you bought any of that, go read the ballot language. I printed it for you right there in my voter guide. It says the contribution to the school fund could be zero. It's likely to be zero because they built in, the people that wrote it, the casino industry, every possible loophole they could so that they could subtract all of their losses and never claim a profit. I mean, they got good accountants, let's put it that way. There's a good chance no money ends up going to schools. So they're lying about that. They're lying on Amendment 3. Amendment 3 opens up the state to all sorts of problems. And we'll talk more about it here in a minute with Wes Martin. But Amendment 3 opens up the state to all kinds of problems with losing parental control over transgender surgeries. And your kid could go to school and be called different pronouns, and you wouldn't even be told about it. It's a can of worms. And you need to read through these in the voter guide and understand them before you get there. It's about more than abortion on Amendment 3. In fact, I'm a no on all of these amendments propositions except 7. 7 guarantees only citizens can vote in the state of Missouri. That's the one amendment you need to vote yes on, in my opinion. All right, coming up, we're going to talk maybe a little bit more about Amendment 3 and how churches have been dealing with it. We'll be right back.
We're gonna sit around the kitchen.
A clear view of the roads from the Window World Traffic Center.
Here is some really good news. Crews have cleared the accident. Northbound 141, north of Clayton Road. And unfortunately, there had been a spill on the road after this accident, and they had to close it down, and it was shut down for quite some time. Again, northbound 141 has been reopened north of Clayton Road. Well, of course, eastbound Clayton Road is jammed as a result of this, and we've got heavy traffic back to Highlands Boulevard Drive, but at least it should start to improve now. Also, that accident on westbound 270, this one was really close to Lilac. They are now, it looks like, oh gosh. All right. There is now another accident reported on the Chain of Rocks Bridge. So if you are headed in from Illinois this morning, we've just got a jam across that bridge. And the accident was at Lilac as well. So a couple of slow pockets there for you. If you are headed in from Illinois downtown, things look fine. The bridges there are in great shape. Northbound 55 looks good from down south into downtown. And northbound 270, just some moderate volume headed for the Clayton Road overpass. From the Window World Traffic Center, I'm Sue Thomas. It is 8:17 at 97.1, St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
All right, let me just tell you for a minute about New Vodka. If you are looking for something to drink over the weekend, maybe you need something to calm your nerves with this election coming up. How about vodka? If you're a fan of vodka, no matter how you like it, straight on the rocks, mixed with something, vodka and tonic, you need to find out more about New Vodka, spelled N-U-E. This is a Texas-based vodka. It's a lot easier on the wallet than a lot of these high-end vodkas, and the value is right there. I'm telling you, it's fantastic. It is delicious. It's got a very smooth finish at a popular price point. I can tell you and the difference is how they distill it, basically, right? They do multiple distillations in multiple batches, no continuous flow. That tends to strip the flavor out of the vodka. And you can find it at Schnucks and Deerberg's for sure, probably at a lot more of the places where you go out to buy your libations. I'm sure you can find it there. My friends at Lore Wine and Spirit, we thank them for bringing this great Texas vodka to town. Ask for it by name, New Vodka.
On-time news. On your time. Download the Odyssey app and dip in whenever you want. And stay on top of what's happening. 97.1 FM Talk on the Odyssey app.
Missouri's Amendment 3 is cleverly worded to convince you that it only allows abortions until fetal viability. But it has loopholes that allow for abortions through all 9 months of pregnancy. Abortion proponents used to say safe, legal, and rare. But now they want abortion as common as the morning after pill. Plus, minor-aged children will have access to sex change surgeries without parental consent. Vote no on Amendment 3.
Paid for by Leadership for America PAC, John B. Royal Treasurer.
To have a roof over your head, a nice roof over your head, is very important.
That's Rick talking about his experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago, and they're very cooperative on getting us the right paint. They were in and out and done in no time. Once it was finished, looked great. We were very happy with it.
The main reason Rick called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by a 25-year transferable warranty.
We've watched a lot of people get their house painted 3 or 4 times, and we haven't had to do any of it. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to have to paint it every 5-7 years.
Take a tip from Rick and put down the paintbrush and call Rhino Shield for your free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago. Financially makes sense, especially if it's going to last like this did. Still looks great.
Call now. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Rockin' the free world. This is the Marc Cox Morning Show.
You know, Mark, you and I have talked a lot about Amendment 3, abortion, and what that would do here in Missouri if that's passed. And also how frustrating it is how few churches are willing to talk about that issue. Well, one of the churches locally here that is talking about that, thankfully, is Grace Church in Maryland Heights. That's actually my church, and we're joined now by the lead pastor of that church, Wes Martin. Wes, thanks for joining us this morning.
Yeah, it's good to be with you guys. I appreciate you having me on.
You know, one of the arguments I hear from people who say that churches shouldn't be talking about this issue is, oh, you know, separation of church and state. They shouldn't be getting involved in politics. What do you say to those people?
Well, I think a couple of things. Number one, you know, when politics get into the vein of morality, then the church has a responsibility to speak up, because the Bible and Christianity, I would hope that Christians would believe this, we get to speak with an authoritative, stance on the issues of morality. So that's number one. And then number two, there's nowhere in our Constitution that says that the church should stay away from politics. It's reversed. You know, it does speak where the government can't impose, various restrictions and rules into the church's business. But the church has a huge voice to speak into issues of morality specifically, even more than that. And we should have a responsibility to speak into issues even when they're deemed political.
Right. Pastor Marc Cox here. You know, I'm just interested to know, Kim was telling me that your message has kind of been focused on this. I understand that completely. Why would you not want to remind people that they need to go to the ballot box and vote their values and their faith, right?
That's right, 100%. I mean, if Christians really believe that the Bible has wisdom and that the Bible speaks into issues of, like, for instance, the value of life or the sanctity of marriage or the definition of gender roles, if we really believe that, of course it should be expressed in the ballot box. To think that it wouldn't is just a mystery to me. It's very confusing, very frustrating.
You know what's also frustrating was I saw that Barna research that talked about how 32 million self-identified Christians who regularly attend church are not planning on voting. What do you think it is? Why are Christians not turning out to vote like they should be, in my opinion?
Well, unfortunately, I think the left and, progressive politics through the years, decades, have been very effective in gaslighting and brainwashing a lot of Christians that the role or that the area of politics is just simply hands off. That is, you'd hear this phrase, just preach the gospel, just preach the gospel, as if the gospel doesn't affect every single area of life. But we've drank the Kool-Aid. Too many people have drank the Kool-Aid and somehow believe that the message of Christianity is just to stay in this nice little box within the walls, the four walls of our churches.
I love that. And, I've been concerned because that I think there's been some hesitance on the part of some pastors and across the churches to speak out on this. I had someone reach out to me a while back and wonder if it would hurt the what is it, the
501c3
status designation if you're get involved in politics. This is not endorsing a candidate necessarily. This is reminding people of an issue that's on the ballot that speaks directly to the issue of life, and we know where that life comes from.
Right, that's right. Yeah, I think, unfortunately, there have been some in the IRS that have been weaponized to use intimidation tactics to keep churches silent, but it's just intimidation. It won't hold up in the court of law. We have a responsibility within the church to speak specifically on issues of morality, but even more than that. And I would really want to challenge pastors to, this is the time that we need to be bold and courageous and not be intimidated into silence. There are really, really profound and powerful and very influential law firms around the nation that would love to defend the freedom of speech, even within the pulpit.
I talk to people who call themselves Christians, and they'll say, I don't agree with an abortion. I personally wouldn't get one, but why should we stop other women from being able to make that decision? How do we have that conversation with those people?
Well, I think, within Christianity, we're speaking of an issue of morality here. And when laws inflict harm on somebody else's life, I would hope that we would speak up. A lot of people use the comparison of slavery, and the same thing happened in the times of slavery. Slavery was legal. And so you would have Christians that didn't have a backbone. They were afraid to speak up of the evils of slavery. Well, because, that's not my place to challenge the law. It's a law on the books. And we would say, listen, it doesn't matter what law is on the books. If it's an issue of morality, in this case, an issue of saving someone from death, I would hope that we would speak up. So, of course, it's not your body, but, of course, in the pro-life argument is the baby within the womb of the mom. It's not the mom's body either. We are contending for the safety of that baby's body. So I would approach it in a sense of saying, listen, this is contending for the safety and the preservation of life of this human being that's being created in your womb. And let's take it from that angle first.
Yeah, I think it's time for people who sit in church every single Sunday who are not hearing their pastor speaking up about these issues like abortion, like Amendment 3. You might need to consider going somewhere else. I mean, like you said, Wes, the time to be bold and courageous is now. It was actually yesterday, but now is the time if you're not already.
Oh, 100%. And guys, we just got to get in our Bibles. A lot of what's being exposed right now in the church is people don't know the scriptures.
Yep.
So we watch a commercial, on Say Yes for Amendment 3, and we get all swept up into the emotion of it because the poor grandma is afraid of her granddaughter having a miscarriage and not being able to have an abortion. And we just get swept into the emotion of it without having the biblical conviction of the truth of what's on the line.
It's a great point. Pastor Wes Martin, we're out of time, but thank you for your input today.
It's good to be with you guys.
Yes, take care of yourself. We appreciate that. Back in just a minute.
When you're approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risks before you retire. Our team can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com. Or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
Kamala Harris and Joe Biden are ignoring kitchen table issues. Liberals are fighting to defund the police, indoctrinate kids, open the border, and put boys in girls' sports. I'm Ann Wagner. The people I talk to know better. Let's work for what matters most. Lower costs, parents' rights, and safer streets.
Ann Wagner is working for common sense solutions to the problems you face. She's challenged the big government machine in Washington and delivered a tax cut for middle-class families. Ann has stood with parents to defend their right to make decisions on the upbringing, education, and care of their children, protecting our kids from radical leftist indoctrination. And as crime rises, Ann has worked to protect our safety by fighting efforts to defund our brave police.
I'm Ann Wagner, and I approve this message. So pull up a chair, and together we'll turn the tables on Washington.
Fighting for your family. Ann Wagner for Congress. Paid for by Ann Wagner for Congress.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
All about tons of sunshine on this Friday as we kick off the month of November. 62 for the high, but it is chilly going out the door this morning. Tonight, clear skies, 50s for evening plans, 43 for the low. The weekend, first weekend of November, Saturday, gorgeous. Partly sunny and 66. Lots of clouds moving in Saturday night as we set our clocks back 1 hour. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
I'm Nicole Murray with Your Money Now. OpenAI is launching a ChatGPT-powered search engine that could put the artificial intelligence company in direct competition with Google and affect the flow of internet traffic seeking news, sports scores, and other timely information. The original version of ChatGPT was released in 2022. Uber shares declined 11% after the ride-sharing platform pointed to a further slowdown in its taxi business, as it forecasts fourth-quarter gross bookings well below Wall Street estimates. Bookings growth slowed to a more than one-year low in the third quarter and fell short of analyst forecasts. Estée Lauder shares plunged more than 20% after the cosmetics giant withdrew its full-year earnings forecast and revealed weak demand for its luxury fragrance and cosmetic products. Estée Lauder said it expects second quarter profit per share between 20 and 35 cents. This falls well below the $1.06 LSEG analysts had predicted. Futures are moderately higher. That's Your Money Now.
Robinhood is introducing forecast contracts so you can trade the presidential election. Through Robinhood, you can now trade financial derivatives contracts on who will win the U.S. presidential election, Harris or Trump, and watch as contract prices react to real-time market sentiment. Each contract you own will pay $1 on January 8th, 2025, if that candidate is confirmed as the next U.S. president by Congress. Learn more about the presidential election contracts on Robinhood at www.robinhood.com/election. The risk of loss in trading commodity interests can be substantial. You should therefore carefully consider whether such trading is suitable for you in light of your financial condition. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Commodity interest trading is not appropriate for everyone. Displayed prices are based on real-time market sentiment. This event contract is offered by Robinhood Derivatives, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm. Exchange and regulatory fees apply. Learn more at www.robinhood.com/election.
A clear view of the roads from the Window World Traffic Center.
There was an earlier accident eastbound 364 past Kisker Road. You may encounter a little bit of slow-moving traffic there. And there was a stall eastbound 70 near 141. Looks like they may have moved that off to the shoulder, but it's still a little bit of a slow go through there. Let's see. Other than that, we've been in pretty good shape for the last few minutes. There is moving road work along southbound 55 approaching Highway A. Watch for the left lane to be closed through there. If you are headed in from Illinois, we still have slow-moving traffic up north. We had that earlier accident at Lilac. Then there was a backup, and in the middle of the backup, another accident occurred, and that's on the Chain of Rocks Bridge. So that's jammed up traffic back to the Canal Bridge. From the Window World Traffic Center, I'm Sue Thomas. This report is brought to you by GHR Contracting. It's 8:33 at 97.1, St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Not many window companies do egress windows. Those are the ones used in basements or floors with no emergency exit. GHRcontracting.com. We offer same-day install and financing 0% for 18 months, and there's no hassle with price negotiation. Get an upfront quote on the phone. GHRcontracting.com.
All right, here's the deal. If you are a veteran, of course, we got Veterans Day coming up. Overhead Door Company recognizes you. If you're a veteran or active military, for the month of November, they are doubling their usual veterans discount on all of their products and services for the month. So you get 10% off all month at Overhead Door Company in St. Louis. 10% off new doors, openers, any service or repair. All the details are on their website at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. Go check that out. In the meantime, if you need service, just in general, whether you're a veteran or not, the garage door is broken, the spring is broken, and it won't raise. You don't panic. Just call Overhead Door Company. They've been at this almost 100 years. They do after-hours service. They do same-day service to make sure that your car is either in or out of the garage, whichever you'd prefer, and that garage door is working perfectly. 314-781-5200. Write it down for the day you'll need it. That's 781-5200. Or schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
97.1 FM Talk is your home for Election Night 2024. On air and online, we're covering the races that matter most to you with real-time results and expert commentary. Democracy 2024.
Choosing the right candidates for any office can be difficult.
My office has lots of drama.
My office has its ups and downs.
I share my office. But no matter what kind of office you have, one thing's for certain. If you're hiring, you need ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology finds the most qualified candidates for your roles fast, and you can invite your top choices to apply. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So, for any kind of office,
I'm really going places in my office.
My office has everything you could ever want.
count on ZipRecruiter to find the right candidates for it. Try ZipRecruiter for free today at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Is your home ready for the holidays? Beat the holiday rush and call our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at $129. Take $75 off your air duct cleaning. Book online anytime at ZeroResSTL.com.
The man is on a roll. You're listening to the Marc Cox Morning Show.
Donald Trump, you never see him around strong, intelligent women, ever. It's just that simple.
Okay, guys, check this out. First, we have Joe Biden calling all of us garbage. Now, Mark Cuban has come out and said that there's no strong, intelligent women supporting Trump. Wait, hang on. I got to fit in this set.
She's doing pull-ups right now in the background of this video, just so you know.
So she's strong.
Yeah, she's strong. No doubt about it.
Here's the problem with Mark Cuban. He suffers from low testosterone. The guy looks just like Rachel Maddow. And here's his issue. He's actually intimidated by strong, intelligent women like me. Graduated from UGA with a business degree. I run a very successful construction company in Georgia. And now I'm going on my 3rd term in Congress. I love guns, especially AR-15s, and I support President Trump. Mark, I suggest you get some HRT and hit the gym.
Wiggins! Oh! Wiggins! Yeah, Mark Cuban has been taking a lot of grief for that comment yesterday.
Yeah, he's been backpedaling. we didn't even know about that comment until the middle of the show yesterday, and Fox News started reporting on it.
Yeah.
What a mess. I mean, the only argument that the Kamala Harris team has had is things like defending democracy, which is already undermined by the fact that she didn't get any votes. And then January 6th, and, the most inflammatory things they can find. They're not really making any policy promises at all. They don't have anything, apparently. Otherwise, they'd be really hammering it. And then their own surrogates come out and just undermine the only argument they are making, which is we're the party of women. That's the one policy thing that they are saying, is that we're the party of abortion and we love women. And then Mark Cuban's out there defaming half of the women in the country. And then also Joe Biden. I mean, the garbage thing. Yeah. Unbelievable.
Like President Trump behind me, who's wearing a garbage bag.
I love
right
it.
Now. You see that?
Yeah.
It's awesome.
I'm sure a lot of people dressed up like that for Halloween. I just think it's funny that they're the party of love and unity and joy. Remember at the DNC how much they wanted to say, joy, joy. Kamala, joy cometh in the morning. Really? Because I'm not feeling the joy as much these days.
Ryan, you said you had some comments on what Kim's pastor said.
That was great. That was great. I loved hearing him. I loved hearing Mike Archer right before that. Two really good interviews. This poll is from Lifeway. It says that 80% of Protestants want their pastors to preach on hot topics and current issues.
Wow.
80% of Protestants.
I'll be honest, that surprises me because I know that even our pastors get pushback. If they speak out about an issue, they're going to have people saying, you should be quiet. You're getting involved in politics when you shouldn't be.
Well, when people tell people to shut up, usually that means they're over the target. Now, it doesn't mean that they're right on. It doesn't mean they're speaking on the right. They're talking about the things that matter. It doesn't mean they have the right opinions about those things. It just means that they're on target. So I just think, and this is talking about the opening line says, sheep need shepherds. People want to know what to think about the things happening in the world around them. And they're looking to the Bible. They're looking to Jesus. They're looking to the pastors, the people around them, their life groups and things for guidance. This is why we get together to talk about this stuff, not to just miss it.
Yeah.
I think there's this sense in which, even in small groups that I'm in, that you kind of do this like, once we sit down and we start talking, nobody's going to bring up politics. But hey, while we're grabbing some chili, hey, what do you think about blah, blah, blah?
Mm-hmm.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
And that's okay. I get that. But people crave it. You want to know what other people are thinking about these topics because that's what's on your mind. It's morality.
Right.
And people want to know how to handle these things.
Those are your faith leaders.
Yes.
If they're not leading you in that direction, then they're doing a disservice, in my opinion. You may not like to hear it, but, the same problem that I've always amazed a couple years ago. I remember seeing the statistics on how the vote went in the Catholic Church. And Barack Obama, I think, got a majority of votes of Catholics in this country. And I'm looking at scratching my head thinking, he's for abortion on demand. How can you possibly vote for a politician, whether it's John Kerry or Barack Obama or Hillary Clinton, who supports abortion on demand, and then go to church on Sunday and the roof not cave in on you? Right. I don't understand that.
No, I agree. I just think it's so disappointing how many Christians are sitting this election out because they say, well, I don't like what Trump says. I can't vote for him. Come on. I'm so tired of pastors saying that they're not going to speak out about it because, for X, Y, and Z reasons. I mean, to Wes's point, that you have to be bold. It's time for them to speak up about this. Election day, really, the election wraps up on Tuesday because we've already been early voting for about 2 weeks now here in Missouri.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so many pastors and Christians are loath to go into these topics because they don't want to become social justice churches. And that is a very real and good concern. You don't want to become a social justice church. The point is still Christ in your church. Mm-hmm. If you are flying a flag higher than Christ, you have messed up your priorities.
Agreed.
However, you can't just avoid all those topics either. And what we see, you see this more on the left, and I'm saying you never see it on the right, that leftist churches tend to become social justice churches much more than right-leaning churches.
Yep.
But the point is, if you're worried about that, if that's the only reason you're not talking about hot topics in your church, then just don't do that. Like, don't become a social justice church. Mm-hmm. Remember your priorities and be bold. But a lot of pastors and leadership are hiding behind the fear of stepping into things that are going to get pushback, that are going to be divisive, and they're just avoiding it entirely. I'm sorry, you just can't do that now.
And I think what's interesting about this too is, some conservatives would say, well, I don't go to church, but I'm tired of the Christians who do go to church. They're not, going to the polls and voting against something like Amendment 3. So I think it's interesting because this is a topic, in my opinion, that everybody probably has an opinion on, whether you go to church or not.
Sure. No, I would agree with that. Ryan, before we run out of time here, I wanted to talk about, I brought it up earlier with one of our guests, Ashley Hayek, this situation in Michigan where they found one guy with multiple addresses and what appeared to be multiple votes. I think 17 or 18, if I remember the number correct. And then they found that had been duplicated. First of all, we're happy that it got discovered. Second of all, you told me something this morning I didn't know about it.
Yeah, so that issue it was hundreds of thousands of votes that looked like they had been fraudulently created by, like, one person would vote 29 times and another person would vote 17 times. That's what it looked like. And so they said, look, Matthew DePerno, I think he ran for Attorney General, Secretary of State a couple years ago in Michigan. He didn't win. Jocelyn Benson is up there now, she's doing a great job. If you can hear the sarcasm in my voice.
Yeah.
But that issue in particular, he brought it and immediately, and here's what's great. Here's the great news about this. The RNC, led by now Laura Trump, immediately day of stepped into that issue and found that it was a glitch. It was adding the same voter ID number to multiple people. And I don't know whether they found that all those votes were fraudulent, they had already been tossed out, or that they were real votes, they just had the wrong voter ID on them. But either way, you have a team of litigants now at the RNC that we were talking to Hans von Spakovsky yesterday. You've never had this before. In the history of the RNC, they were just basically a fundraising group. Now, because Laura Trump, and a couple of the other, there's priorities, they are able to step into these issues immediately when they find them,
right,
and find whether or not they're legit or not. Some of them they're still litigating, but that one they found, no, it's okay, that was a glitch.
Good.
Yeah.
That is good.
And by the way, Laura Trump is one of the strong, powerful women. I know it's family, but strong, powerful women that Trump surrounds himself with. To counter what Mark Cuban has said.
To bring it back to the beginning of the segment.
Circle back.
That's a great point that you just made, Kim.
Thank you.
She is one of those women, and she really is leading that whole organization in a different direction in a way that needed to happen for a long time. Because before, these things would happen, and you had people just running around like chickens with their heads cut off going, that seems like an issue. Nobody's doing anything,
right.
And so they have a team of litigants now that are on these things immediately, which is always what needed to happen. Because then you can find out, this wasn't a thing. Great. We all have more confidence then.
Right. Maybe it was Laura's decision to have him pull up in a garbage truck, because that was a fantastic idea.
Somebody came up with a good one on that. That is absolutely for sure. Ryan, remind people where they can listen to Wiggins America, please.
7 to 8 Saturday morning. That's tomorrow morning. And then 7 to 8 Sunday evening.
Absolutely perfect. All right, Ryan, thank you.
Yeah,
appreciate it, brother. Absolutely. Coming up, more on our first responder spotlight and the ATF alcohol, tobacco, firearms raffle that kicks off today.
A clear view of the roads from the Window World Traffic Center.
There is a stall or an incident here, eastbound 70 at 141. I guess a car went down the embankment, and then they were worried about water being involved. So expect a slow go through there. And it's just moderate volume behind it. It could be worse. What is worse is the jam on westbound 270. An accident kind of at the Missouri side of the Chain of Rocks Bridge, and that has created a jam behind it. Also, there was road work in that area. And then eastbound 364, there was an accident past Kisker Road that has been causing a delay. And northbound 141, poor northbound 141, now we've got an accident reported near Woods Mill, and that's created some slow-moving traffic through there again. Now, other than that, we look pretty good. We're looking good on the bridges downtown. From the Window World Traffic Center, I'm Sue Thomas, 847 at 97.1, St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
The Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Guy Benson joins us.
If you just look at the words, the behavior, the language, it seems like the Trump campaign is more optimistic.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
You entrusted a nursing home with the care of a loved one, and you believed they'd be kept safe. But now you've learned the nursing home has violated that trust. You've discovered bed sores, broken bones, and infections. Your loved one did not receive the care they deserved. If your family member has been the victim of nursing home neglect or abuse, call Onder Law at 844-BED-SORE. Onder Law, making a difference one case at a time.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan with McKelvey Homes. This could be your final opportunity to secure the carefree villa home of your dreams at the Preserve in Afton. Free from the hassles of lawn care, landscaping, and snow removal. With prices starting in the 400s, we will build to order or select from one of our 6 move-in ready designer market homes and save thousands. And also receive $10,000 cash to close from the skilled craftsmen of the Mid-America Carpenters Union for closing costs or bite on your interest rate. Visit McKelveyHomes.com and move up to McKelvey.
If you're experiencing low energy, brain fog, or bloating, then your body might need a detox. Active Liver from New Nordic makes it easy to help your liver to detox your body all year long without major changes to your diet or lifestyle. Active Liver is available in stores at CVS or online at Amazon.
Get your daily dose of common sense. The Marc Cox Morning Show. This is your First Responder Spotlight.
All right, it's the month of November. We are doing our First Responder Thanksgiving. We recognize a different first responder group every day. Today, we'd like to thank the folks down at the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Academy, where they are working hard to try to refill the ranks. They got a lot of spots to fill down there. They're actively hiring, so if you know somebody that's looking to get into police work, they would love to talk to you. Thanks for what you do every day at the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department, and certainly the Academy trainers down there as well. We appreciate that. You can visit 971talk.com to find out more about our First Responder Thanksgiving and to find out more about the raffle, because that kicks off today. And for Responder Rescue, number one, let me tell you about them. ResponderRescue.org, great organization. Of course, they help first responders who are injured in the line of duty. Backstoppers does something else. They help people that are generally killed in the line of duty, and they help their families. First Responder Rescue is there for people that have been injured, but have to take a few months off, and maybe if they get behind in a bill or something like that, they step in and they help them out. And I love what they do. So we're helping them out this month. We have raised in the last 3 years $80,000 through this raffle here for Responder Rescue.
Oh, that's incredible.
So we're one to add to that this year, and here's what you get in return for your donation. The tickets are only $1 a piece. All they're asking is a minimum of 10 tickets purchased. So it's a $10 purchase for you to get 10 raffle tickets in this raffle. You have a chance to win a basket of bourbon that I'm putting together for you. It's going to include a lot of great stuff. Weller Antique 107, a lot of cask strength Old Dominic, single barrels of Old Elk and Four Roses. Lots of really good stuff is going to be in there. Stolock whiskeys, they're donating a couple of bottles for us. It's going to be over $1,500 worth of bourbon that you could win. Or maybe you could win that CMMG Descent MK47. It's a 9mm rifle. It's beautiful. There's a picture of it online with a folding stock. It's being donated by the Range St. Louis West in Baldwin. We appreciate them. That value is estimated at over $2,100. And again, for the tobacco portion of this, my friends at Lit Cigar, Brian Schneider, such a great guy. They've got a private room down there. He's going to donate an evening in that private room, a bottle of his barrel pick bourbon for the room, cigars for the evening, and then on top of that, a box of these Opus X cigars, which are really hard to get. And this is over $1,000 value in and of itself. So we're going to have 3 winners. We're going to choose them randomly the day before Thanksgiving. So November 27th, out at the range at like 12:30. Get on there. Here's the deal. You can text the word responder to 33100 on your phone or tablet. There's a QR code I posted on the Facebook page. Just scan it with your phone. It'll take you right to the page where you can buy tickets. It's really easy. And you can also go to there's a link on my Facebook page and on our main page there at 971talk.com. You can just link to it. But thank you for buying tickets and helping us get off to a great start for helping Responder Rescue. They help us. This is our chance to give back in the month of November to help our first responders.
And they do so much, and I feel like it's one of those thankless jobs. I mean, I know some people obviously understand the sacrifice that they're making every single day, but we've seen the hate that's been spewed at a lot of these, law enforcement officials, and they're putting their lives on the line for us.
They are. This is your chance to kind of give back a little bit. So thanks to all of you and all that you do, for sure. We do appreciate that. I will point out, again, the voter guide, for those of you who haven't seen it, and we talked a lot earlier about Amendment 3. We've talked a little bit about Amendment 2 today. One thing that I haven't talked about as much the last few days is this Proposition A. I see, again, these slickly produced commercials on here. It's going to give you a $15 minimum wage. That means the people in the lowest skilled jobs are going to get at least $15 an hour. Now, who are they, right? The people flipping your hamburgers. Pretty soon your Happy Meal is going to be $27.50, just so you know. And here's the other trick to this. Even if you think those folks deserve $15 an hour, a minimum, instead of some wage based on their skill level, which is minimum, you need to understand that the way this thing is worded, it gives a cost of living increase in wages every year to the minimum wage. So it'll be $15 by next year if this passes, and before long it'll be $25 because every year it's going to go up. Think of what that's going to do to the economy. Think of what it's going to do to small businesses. They're all going to have to raise their prices because the market doesn't support those kinds of wages. This is the problem with setting a false wage floor.
It's not only that, though. Doesn't it also require a lot of these smaller businesses to pay a certain number of sick days for their staff?
Yeah. No, 1 hour of paid sick leave for every 30 hours worked.
There you go.
So that's time off that they've got to cover. It's just it's a horrible idea to go at it this way instead of just more gradually raising that if indeed that's what the legislature decides to do. This is an end run by the activist groups that are sending millions of dollars in here from out of state to try to pass this minimum wage proposal. I'm a solid no on Prop A. That is the statewide Prop A. St. Louis County has some propositions, too, which I happen to be a yes on, so don't be confused. Download the voter guide, study it, and then you'll know, right? And then get out there and vote. We talked about it earlier. They're going to have a hearing here in just a few minutes in St. Charles County on whether or not they should allow watchers to be in the polling place. Well, duh, of course they should. It's stupid that they didn't have them to begin with. But they're going to have to go to court to force the elections director out there to allow watchers in the poll places. But they're open for business. Go get in line, vote today, tomorrow, Monday, certainly by Tuesday. Make sure your vote counts. It's never been more critical. Brian Kilmeade coming up next with the latest on the national races. And, of course, Annie and Marc are going to be in this afternoon with more. They'll have a follow-up on the St. Charles court decision, I'm sure. We'll see you back here Monday morning at 5 a.m. Have a great weekend.
Attention, Missouri Republicans. Donald Trump Jr. has endorsed Amendment 2. Don Jr. calls legalizing sports betting a no-brainer for Missouri. Right now,